Danny is with us today, and Wildman. Danny is a connoisseur of the UK prison system, done almost 20 years, over a dozen different prisons, various situations and scenarios, but fascinating story. There was a dead body in a house that you had lived at.
Yeah.
What was the circumstances around that?
Well, what happened is, before I got my IPP charge in 2007, previous to that, 10 years before, in 1997, I lived in a house with my ex-partner. And during that time in that house, I was involved in criminality and stuff like that. Mostly stealing cars and putting car parts and breaking cars and stuff like that. Fast forward 10 years when I'm locked up, I'm sat there watching Granada Reports, which is our local TV thing, and I'm thinking, looking at the TV, and talking about a murder and a body that's been sat in a house for 10 years, and I'm thinking, me, that's my old street. That is my old street. So comes like association time, goes downstairs, gets on the phone to my missus. I was like, fucking hell, been a murder on our old street, She's like, oh, you're joking. I was like, seriously? So that with that, and I put the phone down anyway, gets banged up. So 2 days later, I rings her again, Shaun, yeah? And I swear, she was like absolutely crying her eyes out. I was like, what's up with you? She's like absolute wreck. Calm down. She went, oh, that body in that house. She went, it was my old house. It was our old house. She went, the police had been. I told them you used to go down the cellar. I was like, whoa, what are you saying? Do you know what I mean? I said, listen. I said, stop talking. Do you know what I mean? So she said, I told them you used to put your car parts in the cellar. And I was like, oh my God. Because I was on remand for 2 armed robberies at the time, and I'm thinking, oh my God, I can't fucking believe this is going to be a fucking murder charge. You know what I mean? I just didn't know what was going on. She said the murder investigation team are coming seeing you in Forest Bank, and I was just like, I thought, is this actually happening? Is this for real? Am I being set up or whatever? So police come, interview me. Murder investigation team from Bolton it was, came in, sat down. She went. Asking me about the address and stuff like that, and she says to me, have you ever been in the cellar of I can't remember if it's 16 Equitable Street? And I was like, well, yeah, I would have been in the cellar, because I was being straight with them, because I knew I weren't involved. It was nothing to do with me. So I said, yeah, I have been in the cellar. I used to use it for put car parts in and stuff like that. She said, well, we've found a body of somebody that's been missing for 10 years. We found her buried in the cellar. He said, you lived there in 1998. You lived there in 1997 with your ex-partner. I was like, yeah, I did used to live there. I said, but obviously this is nothing to do with me. He said, well, with information is that you're involved in this murder. And I said, how can I possibly be involved in this murder? I said, it's nothing to do with me. But what all they were doing is, because the guy, what had happened is, there was a woman called Dorothy Carr, and she had been murdered by her partner. He killed her and he buried her under the York flags in the cellar. But I'd left car parts in the cellar and stuff like that with my fingerprints on. So when he buried this poor lass, he put a stolen wheel that I'd left in there. He put it on top of the York flags, but on this wheel and other parts are my fingerprints. So this is another factor why I was factored into this murder, because my fingerprints were found at the scene of a murder. So obviously they knew it was nothing to do with me, because it was a partner that killed her. I ended up getting like 18 years. But you can imagine, it was just like, I just sat there and man thinking, this cannot be happening.
That must be a nightmare going through that.
It was just coming up visiting me and stuff like that. When your fingerprints get found at something like that, I was absolutely questioning myself. I was thinking, I was just like, what is going on here? My head just could not accept it.
Because you're innocent, but you also know it's easy for them to stitch you up.
Yeah, and that's the thing, with the police. And I've been stitched up earlier in like '98. Where they recovered a thumbprint. They said they recovered a thumbprint off a money bag, which I know for a fact they didn't, because I had a set of gloves on after a robbery. So it was, but I knew it might not go on as much now, but went on a lot in the 80s and 90s. So crazy.
So you mentioned you got an IPP sentence. Can you just explain what that means exactly for people?
IPP, for people that don't know, it's a sentence for the indeterminate protection for the public. And these sentences are given out to people that are prolific violent offenders. They were subsequently brought out for sex offenders, but judges kind of like started dishing them out to everybody, started giving them out. Everybody was getting them. So if you had any kind of violence or any kind of serious offences on your record, or your offences were escalating, you was going to get an IPP, which is it's the equivalent of a life sentence. Obviously, I'm still IPP, and my licence is 10 years, but I can be recalled at any time. You know, I've been out 3 years and I'm still high risk now.
So it's paroles. They could parole you and recall you at any time.
I have been recalled. I was released. I got out in 2015 from Kirk-Levington prison, and I got released. And like I said before, I couldn't handle it. I couldn't adjust to being life outside. You know, like mobile phones, places have been knocked down. My kids had grown up. They was in their 20s, and I just didn't want to be out. It sounds crazy, you know, because I worked so hard in my sentence to get out. I'd done everything, you know. I'd done all the courses. I'd done extra. I did everything to get a job to settle down when I got out. And when I got out, I just couldn't fit into society. I felt more comfortable being back in a cell.
You're a stranger in your own town. I was, you know, because when I got released from Category D, I'd worked all the way there. I had a job for like 18 months, so I was working out. I'd never had a job in my life, Shaun. You know, I'm ashamed to say that. You know, I am ashamed to say that. I'd never had a job in my life up till then. And that was the first time that I started paying tax. And it was the first time that I actually understood what it was like to work for something and own it. So with that kind of ethos, I knew what it was like to have something stolen, you know, what you work for. Yeah. I got that. I finally got that. I was like, you know, people work hard for the things and people steal them, you know, and that I didn't really get it till then. So when I got my job, when I got released from Kirk-Levington, I was working in Newcastle in a restaurant. I was just washing pots. But you know, like from getting out of prison and going washing pots and going back, it was a job. It paid tax. So when I was released from Newcastle, they put me back to Manchester. So I've gone back to a place where I don't know nobody. My family are literally like strangers to me. You know, it was just sad, and I didn't have no friends. I did have friends, but they were all criminals, you know. Yeah. So after a bit of time, I just felt like I didn't fit in, and I just felt, you know what, I wanted to go back to prison. I just didn't feel right, so I did something really stupid to get myself recalled. What I did is I went and got a load of amphetamine, and I ate a load of amphetamine, and I made myself that ill. I got rushed to hospital, and I got took back to Leeds. So I was in Armley. I got recalled in Armley. So obviously I'm coming down off all this speed in Armley. I don't know if you've ever been to Armley, but it's one of the worst prisons. I've been to some prisons. It's one of the worst prisons I've ever been in. So I'm coming down and off all this speed, and I've just been released after doing like 13 years. And I'm sat on this massive wing in Armley and thinking, what the fuck have I done? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. You know, I've just lost everything. Crazy. That's what happens when you're institutionalised, you know. I've gone from, when I first got locked up, I've gone from wanting to do anything and everything to escape, like thinking, right, I'm going to get took to court, I'm going to escape, I'm going to slip the cuffs, I'm going to take hostages, I'm going to do all that, put knives to throats, everything. And I went from that to, in the end, doing everything to keep myself locked up. You know, polar opposites, you know. It's just... You do actually plan different ways, don't you? You think that... I found that one of the easiest ways in America, anyway, would have been if you have to go to an outside hospital.
Yeah, definitely. I want to escape.
Yeah.
I escaped when my mum was dying. I escaped from hospital, slipped the cuffs. I got some margarine. I put some margarine in an old brew bag, plugged it, stick it up your arse for those that I don't know. So I stuck it up my arse. So I'm sat there with the cuffs. My mum's dying, do you know what I mean? And this is the kind of mentality that I had, that I just didn't give a fuck. You know, I've got the margarine while the two screws are sat there. I'm cuffed, I'm double cuffed. I've got the margarine here, and I managed to get it on my wrist, and I managed to get the cuff off. And there's like his heart rate monitor like next to me. He's put these things on and all that. So I managed to get the cuff off and wrap it around this thing. So I thought, he's going to be tied up.
Yeah.
But but there was another one, so I've just bolted out the room, gone right through the infirmary, and the screws ended up rugby tackling me outside. We ended up fighting. I've got one shoe off, so we're rolling about outside this infirmary. It's crazy, do you know what I mean? I've got margarine all over me. On one foot. So I ended up getting off with one trainer. I ended up punching him in the bollocks, and I ended up getting off. So I was out for about a week. Do you know the mad thing about that? I had 3 months to do. So that's the way I used to be. I think.
But at the time, he wanted to see.
At the time, I was like, I want to see my bird. You know, it's stupid. You know, and not only that, but my mum was dying. You know, and I don't think that I kind of like grasped the situation. You know, it was going to be the last time that I seen her alive. You know. And it was the last time that I seen her alive, and you know, I always feel guilty about that because you know, for my own selfishness, you know, I ended up that's when I ended up getting caught. I got put in stripes, and I was like Cat A, and I was just like, it was just, you know, just like one thing after another, you know. Just, but escape's like always on your mind, isn't it?
Yeah. Definitely is. Always
on your mind.
I bet you were proud of your first wage check as well, wasn't you?
Oh, do you know what? When I first got my first wage check, I think it was like about 200 quid or something like that, and I were proud about it.
Yeah.
You know, I was just like, you know, I worked hard for this, and I was paying taxes, and you know, there's nothing, and that's what I wanted to do. You know, that was like the kind of thing I wanted to get out, and I wanted to get a job, and I believed that because I had a job while I was working at Kurt Levitt, and that I was going to get out. I was going to go straight from there and get straight out and get a straight job. And that wasn't what was happening, do you know what I mean? So when I got out, I was going for job interviews. And because I'm classed as a lifer IPP, I have to disclose my my convictions. Obviously, I've got a possession of a firearm, and I've got robbery, and I've got police assaults. I've got offences. I've got like 70 odd offences going back all the way back to 1980. You know.
So those your main jobs. The big guys gone now. You can't go do the door no more. It's not like it used to be.
You can't do that. You can't thingy because you need a badge. You know, back in the old days. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can't do any form of security.
I can't do anything. I can't. You know. I can't work with vulnerable people. I can't work with kids. I can't work with. You know, I can't work as a security guard. It's just so many things. Do you know what? I went for a job in an hotel and I couldn't even get that. You know?
Can't get your CCJ to go and building sites.
You know, once you've been in prison for a violent offence, like I said, they do all these courses. It's like, do you know what? I'm going to keep my head down. I'm going to do the courses, and that's what I wanted to do. And so I did all these courses thinking I'm going to get a job. When you get out, nobody wants to touch you. As soon as you start talking about armed robbery on a fucking job interview, they're like, whoa, do you know what I mean?
You just end up with like a whole load of different certificates, don't you?
Well, that's what happened. I ended up getting recalled because I went for like 15 jobs and nobody touched me.
Yeah.
And so my money was running out from what I'd earned from the job in prison. And I was just like getting slowly depressed and more depressed. I think I'm not going to get a job. My money's running out. I'm going to go back to offending. That's what I'm going to do, Shaun. Do you know what I mean? That's what I know best is go back to robbing cars and selling them, or go back to doing armed robberies, what I'm not very good at, you know. So
a lot of the Americans watching this, like where we were at, guns are common. You know, you get a Saturday night special for $50.
Right.
Throwaway. In this country, guns are illegal. Americans might not understand that.
Right.
So how easy was it for you to get a gun, and what was the nature of the weapons charges that you ended up with? How did that come about?
Well, it was a Glock gun, and it was like...
that's what the cops have got in
America.
That's
what the cops have got, yeah. But that was the only thing that I knew about it, and that was on an armed robbery. And what had happened is we'd done this armed robbery, and... the guy that was supposed to have disposed of the gun and stuff like that and burned the car out, what he actually did is he didn't do a proper job. So, and what had happened is they took the cartridge out of the thing, and they've got my fingerprints on the inside. It's just like schoolboy stuff, you know. I've cleaned the outside of the gun, but on the inside, on the casings, my fingerprints are on there, you know. So when they've got that, they've recovered it, and they've linked me to an armed robbery at a supermarket in Manchester. So, and that's when I ended up getting 7 years for that. You know, I got charged with a gun, possession of a firearm and ammunition with intent to endanger life, and robbery. And that was my first proper prison sentence, 7 years.
Yeah, a lot of stories too where people have done the burglaries and that.
and instead of just tossing the gun in the river to give it a mate to get rid of, and instead of him tossing it in the river, he's gone to resell it to make a bit more money, and that's how they get caught.
That's what I put. It's stupid, but you got to look back. I was a lot younger then. You know what I mean? I was in my 20s, and I was a lot naive when I was in my 20s.
Yeah.
And you pay people to do something and you expect them to do it, Why I didn't keep the gun myself and put it away? I suppose I just wanted to get rid of it, I was just like, right, but I'll get rid of that, and then let him get rid of the car, pay him 500 quid, he can get rid of all that. So when he half did the job,
well, you're right,
and I'm reading it in the paper, I'm reading about it in the paper, and I'm seeing a car that's half burnt out, and I'm thinking, oh fuck me, do you know what I mean? I know I'm getting a knock on that door, and that's what happened. I got a knock on the door. It's as simple as that. You can clean the outside of something, but if you touched it or you got your fingerprints on it, DNA is just it's just so advanced now. You only have to touch something, sweat particles or skin particles or one hair follicle. They've got you.
You said earlier about the prison you went to wasn't the worst one.
Yeah.
What was the worst one?
I think probably the worst prison for me last time when I got recalled, I went to HMP Armley in Leeds. That was just like one of the, I don't care about what people say, you know what I mean, but I've been intimidated and I've been frightened when I've been in prison, and I felt intimidated and I felt frightened in there, and I'm a big guy, when I was in the landing at Leeds, there were guys smoking spice, attacking not only staff but inmates, and this whole spice thing, it all kicks off about then. So people are getting attacked for it, people are getting stabbed for it, people, they're just doing crazy kind of things, and there was some characters on the wing, and they were locked up for some quite serious charges. One guy was in for taking a machete to some people in a park in Leeds. He got off his head on spice, and he'd set about a woman with an hammer, and then he set about with some other people with a samurai sword. Well, I didn't know this, but I'm having it with this guy on the wing. He's called Casper, this kid, he's from Leeds. And so I'm training with him and all that, everything's all right and sweet. And then I goes on the wing one day, and I goes past his door, and I look in his arch, and he's lying on his bed like that, and all you can see is his eyes, and I'm like, you all right, Casper, you all right? And he's just staring at me like that, just staring me out like that, and I went, oh, fuck off, you weirdo, you know what I mean? And he jumps up, he went, nah, mate. When I walked off, I thought, nah, man, you're a bit fucking wrong, do you know what I mean? And I just kind of give him a wide berth. And then I found out about the charges. But the funny thing with him is he ended up, he got moved off the wing and he went to another wing in Armley, and the governor's come on, he's gone down the stairs, and the next thing he just banged the governor clean out, like a grade 3 governor, just knocked him out clean, there was a scuffling. I'm thinking, lad, you fucking really set yourself up for your sentence. Head had gone, do you know what I mean? I thought, you haven't realised what you've just done there. So way to screw is one thing, but when you start banging governors about, you're going full Sutton or Long Lartin or Franklin.
That space is just the downhill for most of the prisons now.
I've never seen anything like it.
Well, it's that, and I mean, back in the day, prisons with proper guards. Now they're all like security guards, aren't they?
They haven't got a clue,
they haven't got a clue. Group 4 and stuff like
Forest
that.
Bank is the worst for it. Forest Bank is straight out of finger. They're straight out of university or straight out of college, and the green is grass, and they're straight on the landings, and they're the most easy people to manipulate and condition. And if you're a guy like me that's been in jail most of his life, these are like putty in your hand, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
You can't bringing stuff in a crack, and that's what happens, people, you got officers bringing stuff in left, right and centre in there, They're
like community police, aren't they?
Yeah, they are, that's what they're like, They've never had a fight in their life,
No.
Strange Ways is a different kettle of fish altogether, you probably got some decent screws in there, but, they got a good grip of the jail.
Yeah.
But like Forest Bank, one of the most corrupt prisons I've ever been in, it's terrible. It is.
When I first started in Walton doing proper screws, and they'd beat the shit out of you.
Yeah.
Sumptions out, you know what I mean?
Yeah, back in the day. Back in the day.
I mean?
I first got locked up in 89.
But you respected that in a way.
Yeah.
You knew where you stood.
We knew where you stood.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
In 89, I got locked up. I was 15 in 89. I went to Inley in Wigan. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you what a fucking experience that was. No one's ever done jail, so they've been to young offenders.
Spoke to young offenders.
You got young offenders, that scars you for fucking life, honestly. So I've gone to young offenders. I'm 15, locked up for stealing a car, driving with no insurance, blah blah blah. So my mum had just bought me a brand new pair of New Balance trainers. So I get to Inley. I'm chained to this guy who's locked up for murder, and he gets there and gets off the bus, and ends up going. You get like processed, so you get put in like a cage. You sit there, so you sat there like sitting ducks, and like in this big cage. And you've got these guys that work on reception, and they go to the gym and they got all the food and they're fucking pretty hench, you know what I mean? I'm just some kid who's been fucking on whiz and smoking weed. I'm 15, I'm skinny as fuck.
They're healthy
so they're
as
like
fuck.
hench as fucking thing, and they're giving all scousers, everybody was scousers on reception. As soon as and they're looking at me, and they're looking straight down at my trainers, I'm thinking, these are fucking well gone. Do you know what I mean? So the next thing goes through to this cage, put me through this little cage. And it's just like a wooden door with like a little hole in it, a little piece of metal. And this scouser comes in, he just looks straight in my trainer. He goes, what size are them, lad? What size are them trainers? I was just like, size 8. The rest of it, yeah. So he went, listen, lad. I went, oh, fucking, do you know what I mean? I couldn't fight a paper bag. I was just a kid. So I give him my trainers, and he ended up giving me a pair of Reebok Classic. So I've got the Classic, I've got them on. So the next thing, it goes through to the other part where you're getting a bit of food, yeah. So I'm sat there, I'm on this bench. Next thing, this other scouser just slips anyway. Yeah, I'll get them fucking chainers off. I'll snap your jaw. I was thinking, this can't be happening. He gives me a pair of boating shoes, yeah. So I've got a pair of boating shoes.
A pair of flip-flops by the time you go out with...
I've got these boating shoes on, and then it's time to get to the wing. It's like 7, 8 o'clock at night. I've got these fucking prison pants. They don't even fit me. They're like 3/4 up my leg. I've got a shirt that's 5 sizes too big. My hair's not been cut for fucking a year. I've got these fucking pumps on my trainers, and I just look like a victim. I just fucking hell. And bullying was just rife in there, you know. I was like, you know, I got on my cell bell. I was on the 4th landing. I've been used to being in police station pressing my thing.
Yeah.
So I pressed my cell bell on the 4th. Next thing's come up like that. Open the door. It was like 12 o'clock in the morning. Rag me clean off the bed. Slap me. Slap me.
Silly.
Yeah. Slap me. I was like, if you've ever had a proper slap, you get like dazed, you know what I mean? I was like, what the fuck's just happened there? He went, don't press that fucking bell again. I was like, yes, sir. Yeah.
You used to be on the police station, aren't you know?
Yeah. And then the next thing, and then about an hour later, just off no reason, he came up with his mate and did it again, slapped me again. Honest to God, you know, prisons back in the 90s and that, but...
Stay off the button until you're getting stabbed.
Yeah, I never touched that button again. My mum gave me a packet of Super Kings, like big long cigarettes. Like, I'm like, can I have a light? What? Cigarette all bent. Oh,
so was that your first sentence then?
That was my first sentence, first bit of remand for stealing cars. Yeah.
Stealing cars.
Yeah,
was that the first crimes that you did?
Do you know the first crimes I did were probably in the late 70s, or probably about 6 or 7 burglaries. Just had this thing about it. I wanted to break in places. I wanted to steal. I don't know what it was. I think stealing things gave me some sort of a buzz, you know. It was just...
you did commercial or did you do private?
Commercial burgs. I was like burgling factories. I was, you know... just breaking in places, and I was starting setting fires, and I was up to...
Well, that's less time as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's better calmer and less time, because once you start doing sneaks while people are in the bed and all that, you get a lot of time.
I never got into burgling people's houses. I started off, breaking into factories when I was a kid. I just think it was just like something... Just to like to escape what was going on at home, you know, all the violence and all the drinking, and you know, just to get out and have a bit of fun. That's the way I seen it, you know.
What was going on at home then?
Just I was brought up with both my parents were alcoholics, heavy drinkers, and a lot of domestic violence. So all I've seen was domestic violence from being a young age. You know, my
was
dad,
that them fighting each other or beating you?
That was basically what happened is my dad used to get drunk and he used to beat my mum up.
Okay.
He used to really knock her about and stuff like that, and you know there was a lot of that going on. And then when I was 10, my brother he was 16. He died of a brain tumour.
What?
Yeah, and I was 10-year-old.
Bloody
and what happened then is obviously the family dynamics just went to shit then, you know. You know, like, you know, my mum just totally lost the plot. She has a really bad mental breakdown. I ended up living with my dad, and my sister ended up going with my mum. And my dad didn't give a fuck about me, he neglected me. He never, you know, he disappeared for like 3 or 4 days, and he wouldn't come home. And this was like in the 80s. I was about 80, 86, and like, you know, next door neighbours like, you know, where's your mum and dad and all that? And I was on my own, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like fucking surviving, fending for myself, you know. I'm to go and blag food and
eating toast.
Yeah, eating, you know what I mean? Anything that was in the house.
Yeah.
You know, fucking hell. You know, bad times, you know, and you know, I think a lot of my behaviour was linked to being left alone for long periods of time, you know, and having to survive.
What about friends and schoolmates and stuff like that?
Do you know what? I didn't really. I had a few friends in school, but I used to steal a lot of stuff from school, Shaun, because I was poor. We didn't have nothing, you know. I always remember going to school and I didn't have a PE kit, and we had a PE teacher called Mr. Stralcon. He was like, right, fucking twat. And he said to me, right, you're doing PE and all that, and all I had was a pair of wellies and a pair of purple underpants on, and he made me do the 100 metres in a pair of purple underpants and a pair of wellies. So I'm looking down at this kid, and he's got night trainers on, night shorts, all the night kit, and I'm looking down, I've got purple underpants on and a pair of wellies.
I'm having that.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
It come back round to you back when you got in prison, though, didn't it?
So when I went away on the school trip, he had his night, he put his Nike and all that, so I robbed his night trainers. I robbed his night trainers and I robbed his jacket. So anyway, I bundled them, got them home. And I'm worrying about the street and all that. But what I didn't know, one of the teachers went in the school, and she went to the lower year, and she went, does anybody know anybody that's just bought a night jacket and a bike? My mate Malcolm goes, yeah, my mate Danny's got new trainers and all that. That's me straight up. Oh my God. So he came up and seen me, she went, where's the trainers and where's the jacket? So I was busting around in this lad's trainers and jacket, you know. It's that just being brought up when you're poor. I think that's what I wanted to do, you know. I just wanted to have money. You know, when you're poor and you get brought up, you're walking about with holes in your trainers.
Is there wrong in that, though, is there really?
No, there's nothing wrong in that.
Because you want to bring yourself up, don't you?
No, that's it. There's nothing wrong in that. Yeah, it's just, it's there were hard times I'm being brought up like that, you know.
So you're like a young lone wolf criminal.
Yeah, I was, yeah.
You go to young offenders. Are you making some criminal connections now and getting more established?
You know, that's the thing when you get to prison. You do that. It's like a learning thing. You know, it's like learning college at prison. You know, I was meeting people. I was meeting lads from Manchester, like Salford, Wythenshawe. Not so many Scousers and stuff like that, because they were like that north-south divide in prison. You know. Even Scousers were robbing Scousers in Italy at that time. You know, they were ruthless.
Yeah.
You know, they were ruthless for robbing their own. I was thinking, hang on a minute, at least we're not robbing our own, blah, blah, blah. But I did start making connections with these Salford kids, and they're like, start getting cars and start selling them over in Manchester, start getting a bit more money. I was getting like 300 quid for a car, and they were getting like 5 ton. And I got talking to this kid from Wythenshawe. He's like, if you can get them cars, I'll give you 5 ton all day just to get one car, do you know what I mean? So I ended up getting in with these lads from Wythenshawe and Salford. And that's how I started getting onto the armed robberies and stuff. You know, you make some big connections in there, but you also learn a lot in there as well. You know, because you got nothing to do, have you? You sat around for 24 hours, and all you're talking about in young offenders is what you're going to steal when you get out. You know what I mean? What you're going to do? What are you going to start selling drugs? Are you going to do this? You know, there's no plans to go straight, is there?
No.
You know?
You're always meeting connections, aren't you?
Yeah.
And as you say about with Scousers, whenever I went, I started off in Walton, and then we ended up in Accrington, Northumberland. But when I'm down there, they're like, he's a Scouser. He leaves them, the thieves.
Yeah. It's the accent,
because they've got that name.
It's the accent, isn't it? It's like, even though you might be from Wirral or Birkenhead, and like, the accent's similar, innit? You know, people just think Scouse straight away, you know? Just pick up.
But they've got a bad name in jail for robbing, like they have.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they have got a bad name in jail. You're robbing my trainers, yeah.
They go in packs, don't they, too, like hyenas.
They're taking my trainers off. I still have thinking about that. But you know, another mad story about that is that when I went back about 2 years later on, I had these Reebok boots on that my mum had bought me, and I just thought, you know what, these are not fucking going anywhere.
So
I've gone in the shower, and I'm having a shower. I'm a little bit old, about 2 year older by now, and I put a bit more timber on, and I'm having a shower, and I look back, I can see this kid, he's fucking eyeing me. So I got out, and I was like, I said, you'll have to kill me to get me boots, you know what I mean? Just like bravado kind of talk, you know. So this kid from Salford, he's just like, you know, I want your boots and stuff like that, I'm going to kill you and all that. I was like, you're going to kill me for a pair of Reebok boots, really? Do you know what I mean? Just fucking crazy, you know.
So that jump then from car theft to armed robberies, did that phase you in the beginning? Or was it like something that everyone was doing and you thought it was cool and let's just do it?
No, I mean, it's like, there is a bit of a jump there, but like for me, I was always into nicking cars and driving. So, I've been driving since like 14 or something. So, and when you start driving when you're 14 and you're getting chased off the police, you're in situations where it's very stressful, but I managed to get away a lot of the times. So when people see that, these older guys see that you can drive and they see you in these cars and that,
this is where you get picked up for your skills in driving, and that's what I used to do. I used to drive at first. I used to drive on a few bits of work for people. I'd be driving, and then obviously I'd get asked in. You know what I mean? Do you want to come on a bit of work with us? Do you want to do a bit of graph with us? And that's how you do. That's how you make that jump. It's all about trust, though, Shaun. You can't. Some of these guys that I were grafting with, they'd already done some big bird before. They're not just getting. They're very careful about who they want with them, because you're getting caught. You're looking at like a 20 stretch of some of these graphs. People are going to squeal on people.
Yeah.
It happens. People start squealing. And they want somebody who they know that's done a bit of jail, that's gone to jail, kept their mouth shut. Because when I've been in jail, there's just so many fucking grasses in jail that have grassed people up. Or you talk to someone and say, "Oh, well, grassed up off him. It's in my depositions, or gone QE against me and stuff like that, So
when you first held a gun as a young person, did you get that powerful feeling?
Yeah, definitely. You get it's like a fear thing, innit? When you start pointing a gun around and all. I remember this guy who had this gun, and he was doing armed robberies with it, and he said to me, he was in the flat. I was only about 17 at the time, and he'd probably done a bit of graph with it. And he's like, if you're going to do an armed robbery, how would you do it? And I was just like, I got the gun, and was like, give me the money. Like that. He went, no. He went, give me the fucking money. He put the gun right in me. He went, that's how you fucking do it. Do you know what I mean? I was like, well, hang on a minute. Do you know what I mean? He got carried away. I was like, whoa. But just to have it, just to hold it. If you've ever held it, obviously you have done, but they're heavy, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? They are a lot heavier than people actually think them, you actually see. But they are heavier. And the kick that we used to get off them. But I think it's like respect. Once people know that you've got a strap, a gun, people kind of keep away from you, or just... it's the ultimate kind of protection that you can have. Not much so over here though, Shaun, do you know what I mean? A lot in the States, I suppose, but over here, you can get hold of them, but you have to know some serious connections, you know what I mean? You can get hold of shotguns out all over the place, but, for a proper handgun, you need to be knowing some people.
You're paying good money too,
you're paying a lot of money, mate. You're paying a lot of good money for a good gun.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And you can't just sort of like meet someone in the pub. You have to know them.
Oh, you have to know people.
If you meet someone in the pub and say get you a gun, you just walk away
just
from
bring the police on you.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Get your BB gun. You get police will jump all over you when you get out. You know what I mean? I've got a guy who asking me for a gun. Get on the fucking floor. What the hell?
So we had shooting ranges in Arizona, and we grew up to the desert target practice. How did you practice?
Well, I just used to practice up on the moors. Do you know what? We used to shoot at stolen cars. We used to shoot at like big tins of paint. Shot at big gas bottles, shooting them, trying to get them to explode. All crazy things like that, know. All bonkers stuff. But I don't know. I don't think you can actually explode a canister with a gun, even though we give it a good go. The bullets just bounced off it. But just homemade targets and stuff like that, cutting things out of cardboard. That's what we used to do, cut like a silhouette of a guy out of a cardboard and just do stuff like that. But
did you have a good aim?
What's that?
Did you have a good aim?
Do you know what? My aim's not too bad because when I was a kid, I used to have an air gun. A 2-2 with a big under pull thing like that. We used to call them elephant guns. I was 10-year-old and I was left alone with it all the time, and I was like the best marksman ever. Do you know what I mean? I never went to school. I just hung out in my bedroom window and shot everything that was on the street. Nothing lived.
Magpies and stray cats.
Everything. I shot everything. Tin cans, birds, everything was just dead. That's all I used to do. I had a pretty good shot. So
How did it go then, from driving to actually doing an armed robbery, and how did that feel to do your first one of them?
I suppose it's just, there's no feeling like it. It's just sometimes it's different from different jobs. Do you know what I mean? I found in the past it's sort of, I've been like on my last jobs, it's sort of like autopilot. I've got there now. A lot of work I've done has been on my own, Shaun. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm very funny about who I work with. So a lot of my jobs were on my own. So almost like autopilot. I've got there. I've parked my car up. I'm thinking, right, I know what to do. This is what I'm going to do. Give it a bit more time. And there's not. Do you know what? There's no real feeling in it. Do you know what I mean? You can't have any feelings because if you do, it could stop. You could stop what you're doing. Do you know what I mean? You could just
think, oh, do you know what, I'm going to get locked up or what. You just can't think that. I'm going there, I'm doing this, and I'm doing it. Do you know what I mean? And that's the way I used to do. And then afterwards, we used to become used to get the feeling of euphoria. Do you know what I mean? I suppose like when you're doing a bit of work and you're waving a gun about in somebody and you're threatening them and stuff like that, you do get a feeling of power. Do you know what I mean? I have had the feeling of power over people. I'm dressed in black. I've got a balaclava on. I've got my gloves on. You don't know who the fuck I am. I've got a gun. I'm putting it in your face. And to see, I know it's sad to say, but to see people frightened and finger, I used to fucking get off on it.
Mm-hmm.
I used to get off on it, because. That's just that's what I did,
Did you do it straight-headed too, or did you get coked up?
Do you know what? I never ever did anything on anything.
That's wise.
I never did anything while I was high on anything. I was kind of like Shaun. I was into all the parties and all the E's and all that.
Yeah.
Sometimes, my jaw's still gurning now from the night. You know what I mean? I had that many E's, third-degree gurns, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which clubs were you going?
Oh, I went to Shelley's in Stoke-on-Trent. I went to Entropy. That's another story. I used to sell pills in there, and I used to buy
in Shelley's.
In Shelley's, I used to sell pills in Shelley's.
We may well have got pills off you.
Yeah, I used to sell in there. I used to give 100 quid to the black bouncers, 100 quid to the white bouncers to sell. I used to sell my pills in there, and then on the way back, we used to go to a salvage yard, and I'd pay for a salvage, a crashed car. So then the salvage would get dropped off. I'd go out and nick the car, and then I'd ring it, then I'd sell it, and then I'd steal it back and ring it again. I was fucking loads of madness like that.
Did you get down to the Eclipse in Coventry?
Do you know what? I went to Eclipse in Coventry, Shelley's, Entropy, where else used to go? A place in Birmingham. We used to set the pill, Eclipse, you set all the pills in there, pockets full of pills. And I honest to God, I was like, 18, 17 then, we come out of there. But do you know what? Best buzz ever. Because that was like when it kind of hit over here, when it was like, that was when it was big time in Shelley's, and pills were pills, and you'd have it and you'd be sledging your back out, and you know what I mean? Like everyone's hugging each other.
And it wasn't moody, was it?
No,
not
moody.
No.
No moodiness, no.
As long as the spray away guys in the Burgos.
Yeah, gold chains and all that.
Like
Maxime's all stood off in a corner with gold chains. All Salford boys like that with big chains and big bracelets on.
None of that. Coked up like you're fucking going mad.
Dorman dancing. First time.
I was watching it the other day. I was watching it on YouTube, old clips of Shelley's and stuff like that. There's loads of loads of clips online about Shelley's, and they look absolutely off their boxes, and I think that was me, that was me. But that was like when it was, when E's was starting to get big over here, and the club scene and stuff like that.
And they were proper E's, weren't they?
Proper E's.
You'd had to dance up. If you sat there, you'd sledge, which was all right too, right? But you had to actually work on your knee, didn't you?
Yeah, it's nice. It was
people say, I could take 10 or 15.
Yeah, these were straight from Amsterdam at the time.
Yeah,
White doves. We were getting off my pal, and he were bringing them straight from Amsterdam. There was nothing in them, do you know what I mean? You were absolutely just sledging, like, jaw all over, gurning your back out all over, So, yeah.
Some people were scratching little birds on aspirins, weren't they, trying to sell them to us?
Yeah, Shelley's used to do big business in Shelley's, yeah. As long as you paid the bouncers, you could do pretty much what you wanted to do in there, Yeah, as long as you covered your ass in there. Never even got no miver off the police or anything, we were lucky really, because at that time people were getting big jail for ecstasy, for selling pills and stuff like that,
So you've done your first sentence, young offenders. You've moved up now to armed robbery level. How many years have you been a free man now before your next arrest?
I got released in 2002 for that possession of firearm. So I'm out in 2002. I ain't got no money. I basically got out to nothing. I was out on a night out, and within a couple of days I've got a big chunk of coke and I've got a big bag of smack, and I've gone back to selling crack and smack, which is probably not the best thing if you like a fucking line of coke, do you know what I mean? You know what I mean? You don't get high on your own supply, so I was the fucking worst drug dealer in the world, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was a terrible drug dealer. Took more than I ever sold, you know what I mean? But
Sounds
I don't
familiar.
know.
Sounds familiar. Took more than I ever sold, lad.
If you had that bag of coke, I'd go straight to... I'd go and get me bicarb soda.
Yeah. Start cooking it up. Yeah, that's all I used to do. Used to get his kids to do. He used to do 9 ounces for us in a dog ball, a stainless steel dog ball.
Yeah.
He used to give him like a 9 bar a sniff, and he'd put it in. Obviously, it was like he's talking proper stuff now, not the garbage that's about now. And it would just wash up straight up to 9 ounces. And,
I was going to say, nowadays, man, you're looking to get 4.5 ounces out of it, wouldn't you?
It's garbage, isn't it? It's just... So yeah, I started doing that, and then I started smoking it, and then I started selling it. So I started to lose the plot a little bit. I don't know anybody. Obviously, when you start taking stimulant drugs and you've been up for a few days and you've not been eating, do you know what I mean? You start fucking seeing things, and I couldn't get away from the window. Me, I was constantly thinking, stood at the window looking at the window like they're fucking coming. They're coming. People are like, who are coming? I'm like, them. They're coming. I'm like, who's coming? I'm like, the police are coming. The police are coming. I'm like, no one's there. I was like that for about 9 hours looking at this bush. There's somebody now. He's crouched down. And when it got light, it was just a bush. Do you know what I mean? With a kid's toy in front of it. It was, there's his arm. There's his fucking arm. And it was a kid's toy. You know.
Well, man, one of those was the Mexicans are coming.
We'd stay in hotels, and like as it was going from light from dark to light, it's like I'd be watching, and I wouldn't put my eye near the people, but I'd be looking just under the door there, and you can see like the shadow light walk past.
So when the shadow changes,
when it goes dark,
that's a classic one of mine. That's one of mine. That's one of my classic ones. That. Stood there for hours on end, like they're coming. It's like no one's coming, and then I used to do that for days on end.
Put music on.
Oh yeah, no noise at all. Yeah. You can't smoke crack when there's any noise. You know what I mean?
The cleaners. Who's the cleaner? No, we're all right, thank you.
It's the thick fog of smoking.
Yeah,
you know, it's crazy, isn't it? For days on end, I used to do that, and then I come round and then I go to McDonald's. I get a double Big Mac meal or something. Go to sleep and then get back on it again, start selling, and then the cycle just repeats itself, you know. And by this time, I started to lose the plot a little bit, and I was owed a bit of money off this kid, and this is how I ended up getting 33 months for 2 police assaults. So I thought, right, I'm owed a few quid, I haven't got no money. So I went to the kid's house, and he had a brand new Subaru outside his house at the time. And his missus with him. I shouldn't have done it really, but in hindsight, I was fucking off my face, you know what I mean? And I wanted some money, so I've gone there. I was like, Chris in. She went, no, he's not here, but don't forget I look off my fucking head. I'm like that, do you know what I mean? Fucking, where's Chris now? You better get him on second Subaru. I said, you better ring him now. Well, she didn't ring Chris, she ended up ringing fucking police, yeah? And I was in a stolen car. And so she told the police, said, listen, Danny Dawson's here, he's in a stolen car, blah, blah, blah. I fucking told them everything, yeah? So police have come up, they know that I'm in this fucking car and they know who I am, and they're like, what are you doing here and all this, blah, blah, blah. So I've just got into the car by now, so I'm sat in the car, I was trying to shut the car door, my own strength, and then they're trying to pull it and I'm trying to shut it. But what I've done is just like pure madman strength. I've ripped the handle off the door of this car. The door handle's come off. So next thing, I'm fighting with these 2 coppers. They dragged me out of the car. They managed to get me out of the car and manhandling me. And so we're wrestling about. And this copper's got a vest on here, and I've got my hands in his vest. And I've managed to get my knee, and he's like against the wing. I've got my hands in his vest, and I've got my knee against his chest. And I've pushed him like that, and he's just gone somersaulting over. And as he's going over, Shaun, all I remember is his face going fucking hell like that. And I've just gone mad then. And he's managed to get a cuff on me. And I've ended up biting them both. I ended up biting 2 coppers. And then they press the fucking bell, you know, they got to press special button there. When shit's going down, they press that. Fucking hell, they press that. In the depositions, they must have pressed it about 4 or 5 times, yeah. And they've just come from everywhere then, do you know what I mean? And managed to get a cuff on me. And he got me back to the police station, and he was after I calmed down and all that. And then I tried to fucking I got a screw in the police station out of took me to the toilet. I took the bog roll thing off, so obviously I'm off my head, so I've got a screw and I've screwed the screw right into my fucking wrist. So they've had to take me to the hospital. So I've tried to escape from the fucking hospital, right?
Best place to do it.
Best place to do it. Anyway, they were waiting for me to try and do it, weren't they? Do you know what I mean? And obviously knew about my past and that. So I ended up getting 33 months for that. Bit 2 coppers. It was just absolute madness, you know. Anyway, police news got a grip of it. It was all over the radio and stuff like that. And the best thing about it, I couldn't believe it, I got fucking bail. I couldn't understand it.
Bail?
I got bail for it. I could not understand it. 2 Section 18s it were at the time. 2 Section 18 GBHs. I've never had bail in my life. But my solicitor, who worked in them courts, he was good as gold. I don't know how he fucking managed it, but he got me bail. So I'm out on bail. I'm on a curfew. I'm on a residence thing. So that night, I'm at home on the curfew. Chief Inspector turns up. The chief comes. He's like, "You hammered two of my boys today," and all that. I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry about what happened." Blah 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 blah. Being, thingy about it. Do you know what I mean? I was like, "Listen, I'm sorry about what happened." And that was the same guy. That was the same copper that killed himself in the up in the Lake District. I can't remember his name, but it was him that come to my house. So yeah, I was on a curfew, and then I didn't end up going to court. I ended up being on the run for that. Oh, crazy! So I ended up getting captured for that, and ended up getting charged for the robberies as well.
How did they capture you?
I got caught. Firearms officers caught me. I was in a stolen car, put all the windows through, and ran me, blocked me in. Blocked me in from the front, blocked me in from the back. Next thing, every window just went through. When people say they're like that saying you shit yourself, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I know where that comes from. So when I got arrested eventually, like all the windows had gone through, dragged me clean through the window, fucking made a right mess of me. If anybody's ever been dragged through a car window, you know about it, and dragged all over the floor. Broke 3 of my fingers. And then, I was straight off to Strangeways then.
It's hard to walk yourself in. You know that you're going to go to prison.
Yeah.
If they bail you, you know straight away where you're going, don't you?
Definitely, yeah.
You can't wake up and say, oh, well, today I'm going to court and I'm going to prison.
Yeah. I know.
Fuck it.
Gone. Yeah, that's what I mean. I work thinking, and like, pretty well known in the area. That was the thing, I was just driving around, and then you'd like see you and chase you in stolen cars, and sometimes they come after you, and sometimes they just leave you. It just
dangerous driving.
Just depends if they was on their own or there was a few of them.
Yeah.
If they was on their own, they just leave you. Do you know what I mean? I think, well, he's a bit fucking loose cannon him. You know what I mean?
There's like a worldwide fascination with Strangeways for some reason.
Yeah.
On the podcast, I had the prison guard. He did some stories out of it.
Yeah, I watched that this morning.
Ex-con Cody. You got any Strangeway stories from your experience?
Do you know what? I've been in Strangeways, and I've been on the Cat A unit there, and I was in Stripes when I escaped, so I ended up being on the unit there. Strangeways, do you know what? Strangeways is like, it's not like any other jail I've been to. After the riots, it changed a lot after the riots. It was pretty much a screw jail. They pretty much dominated it. So I'll tell you what, I've got a funny story actually. I was listening to your guy who's called Sam Summit, the prison officer.
Yeah.
And he would say he used to work on K-Wing, or he'd been on K-Wing, and that was like the first time I got locked up. I was on K-Wing, and I was only a young lad. And I was on the bottom landing. I was just like looking out through my slit in my door, like as you do, because you get a bit bored and you're thinking. So I'm stood there looking through this slit in this door, and I'm watching this fucking screw go up and down in a pair of socks, and thinking, what the fuck's he up to? So next thing from nowhere, he just comes right up to the door, and so he sees me. I'm looking at him like a pair of eyes together. He goes, "What the fuck are you doing?" I goes, "I'm fucking watching you, yeah." He goes, "Fucking get on your bed like that." So I was like, right, all right. So the next day, my cell gets spun, yeah?
Yeah.
And there's a cup, and it's got washing up liquid in it. And they comes in, and they drags me off the yard, and they goes, what's this for? You're going to throw it in our face? I said, it's not even mine. I said, somebody's probably going to wash the socks with it. He goes, nah, you're going to throw that in my face. I was like, what the
So was he creeping up and down the landing with the boots off?
Yeah, with the boots off, trying to catch people. Snidey bastard. But he's holding his keys and he's getting a pair of socks. And he's seen me at the crack of the door, the light in the door, yeah. He's seen me. He moseyed over there.
He wasn't one to sort of...
Yeah, that was K-Wing. That's a massive wing. K-Wing's a massive wing in Strangeways. I'm not sure, there's like 200 people on there. But like for your first time in there, so... It's quite a massive jail, and you get moved from K-Wing to the other wings. My son's just got out of there. He's just come out of G-Wing. My lad's done 5 years. He was on G-Wing on Survey, and that was his first time in there. So I was like, please keep your head down, because like I said, the screws have got control in that jail. It's not. There's not much messing about, obviously, because of what happened with the riot. They're not letting that happen again,
Survey's a good place to be.
Survey's best place to be. Survey or cleaners, get out. All the food. You know what it is with the screws? You can get on with the screws. Like people, I get on with the screws, people have said, oh, you're a grass, whatever, but do you know what? It's not. You're using your head, because...
There ain't no point in disrespecting them. You're not going to get anywhere.
It's just that you want things done, you know what I mean? If you want something done or paperwork, being a lifer, you need to be able to get them things done. Mm-hmm. And you get these people saying, have you talked to the screws, you snitches, or you know what I mean? But
they haven't done birds. They don't fucking know.
They haven't got a clue,
you know what I mean?
So jail's full of people like that, you know. Just because you talk to a prison officer, they see you talking to them, you might be talking about an application. Next thing you're a grass.
All those ones what called ratted, the ones who've ratted themselves.
Of course,
They're just fucking pointing.
Yeah. They're the ones like, you know, they're saying, oh, such and such is a grass. They're the ones that are deflecting the shit away from themselves, you know. That's what I've learned in jail.
It's true.
The ones that call people the grasses are the fucking grasses, you know.
Check his paperwork, he's a grass.
Yeah, check his paperwork, he's a wrong. Yeah, no, that's what I mean. That's one of the things I've learned about being in prison, you know. The ones that got a lot to say are the ones that have got a lot to hide.
Exactly.
Earlier on you said that a lot of people were getting attacked or stabbed and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Throughout your entire experience, did anyone attack or stab you?
I've got a 4-inch scar in my stomach here. I got stabbed with a tin of tuna in full
Have you got the story behind that then?
So, the story behind that was something to do with a guy, 2 black lads. One was called Little G and another was called Evil.
What year is this and what prison?
This was in 2000 in Full Sutton.
Something fishy about that.
Yeah, something fishy about that one. tin of tuna. Two guys from Birmingham who was in Full Sutton at the time. And do you know what? This was to do with a piece of toast. This was over a toast. It's what this boiled down to, was over a fucking piece of toast. I wanted to use a toaster and I was like next in line to use a toaster. Next thing, this guy called Little G or whatever he was called, that's what they call, they have these gang names and all that, as you know. So next thing, he just jumps in straight in front of me. I've turned my back and I've turned around, isn't it thing? And I've gone, oh, blah, 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 blah. You know, I was next and all that. Now, you can't show any kind of weakness in prison, Shaun, do you know what I mean? Because you will be exploited, and especially in a Category A prison, you know, you'll get exploited. So next thing, I'm like having a bit of a, you know, saying, oh, you know, I was next and all that. So I just thought that with that, do you know what I mean? Left it at that. Obviously, he didn't leave it at that. So what he did is he got a tin of tuna, he took the lid off the tuna, folded it over, sharpened it outside on yard or wherever he could sharpen it, and then got something else. And as I'm coming out of I'm like 4 or 5 doors down from him at the time. So if I've come out, he's come down, he's coming past, and I just thought he was going to see his mate. Next thing, I just thought he punched me in the stomach. I just thought it was a punch. Didn't think now of it. Do you know what I mean? And then I got a few other blows in my face and that. After that, anyway, fight got split up, and then it was only when I lifted my top up and I looked that I realised I got like a 2 inch by 2 inch and 2 inch deep piece missing out of me. He'd actually gouged it out of me. He wasn't like, well, he didn't stab me, he gouged a piece of flesh out of me. So somewhere on that landing was a 2 inch piece of flesh, you know. So the wound was that big, they couldn't stitch it. So what they had to do, they had to pack it. They had to pack it with this stuff. I don't know what the fuck it was, but they packed it.
Wasn't tuna, was it?
No, it weren't tuna, no. I mean, every time we open a tin of tuna now, I just think, yeah, but I don't know but that's why one of the reasons they stopped giving coffee out in coffee jars. People just getting stabbed to fucking bits in there, cut to ribbons, you know. It's just...
With Arizona, they won't give you nothing in tins now. You get tuna, but you get them in packs.
Right. No, so they take it out. Yeah. Well, I think they got wise after a few people that got stabbed and fingered out, you know.
Ripping readies, like
just, you know, just making shivs and knives out of everything, you know.
It's wrong that though, isn't it? No, you know what I mean?
No, I was just.
What's you jumping the queue for?
You know, it's just a bit of toss, you know. But there's people been murdered. You know, when I was in Grendon, I was in HMP Grendon. A guy got murdered in a lad that I used to train with, a guy called Lee Fay. And he ended up murdering a guy called Robert Coelho and stamps all over his head. He stamps all over his head that much, he took his head completely off his body.
What was that over?
It was the guy. I don't know if you've ever heard about Grendon. Well, it's a therapeutic jail. So you go there to address your issues and stuff like that. So on my many missions, I ended up there doing therapy, you know, to get an understanding why I was offending and what I was doing and why I was taking drugs and why I was doing all this shit. So I ended up there, and it's like you got sex offenders in there as well, but they're integrated on the wings. Do you know what I mean? So,
but once you touch one of them, you're out.
Oh, you're gone straight away. You're gone straight away.
So there's no point, is there?
No point. I mean, I'm just doing my jail. Do you know what I mean? I'm just getting on with. Do you know what? They don't really bother me, to be fair. But he took a dislike to him because he challenged him on the wing. They got like this. Like a community kind of thing where you sit down in a room and you got like a load of chairs and you can like voice your issues and or say, well, you know, he called me this the other day and all that. Everything that goes against like normal prison behaviour, challenging people and trying to teach people to be normal in society and stuff like that. But Robert Coelho's challenged him or said something about him, so he's thought, right, but whatever. So he's gone upstairs, locked the fucking cell door, and murdered him, stamped all over him, made a right mess of him.
Detached his head?
Detached his head from his body.
That's not an easy thing to do.
And then tried to get away with it, but obviously, it's fucking hell.
Yeah.
There's a fucking blood everywhere, you know. He's like, I wash these clothes for me. You know what I mean? He's like, fucking hell.
Trying to flush the bed to get away with it.
Do you know what? He was already doing a life sentence for murder anyway, but it was, I mean, it's mad to say, but he was one of the nicest lads I've ever met in jail. He was a proper fucking lump. He was massive. Yeah, big guy, you know. So this guy, this Robert, whatever he was called, he was only a little fella, must have just snapped his neck, you know. Just
literally had him.
Literally just put him over his back and just snapped his back. You know, just wigged him clean out, you know.
So after you got stabbed then, did you get put in like a medical facility?
Yeah, I was in hospital for about a month, and then I was moved. I got my category put down to a B or C, I think it was.
When you say hospital, is that like part of a prison hospital?
Yeah, it was on the prison hospital, yeah. I got moved.
So you chained to the bed or anything? Or
No, it's prison hospital. It's called the healthcare unit, and it's in the prison. See, when you can't hear, I was still can't hear at the time, I was in full Sutton, and they don't want to fucking let you out. Do you know what I mean? Because not because I'm like any kind of dangerous thing, but because I've got a lot of escapes on my record, and being violent. So if your thing, if you can be treated for anything, you are getting treated in the prison. Do you know what I mean? They don't want to let you out at all. And if they do let you out, then you need to contact the police, and the police need to be there, and it's quite a thing.
Did you ever to wear yellow stripes?
Yeah, I was in stripes when I was when I was a catty in Strange Ways. Used to take them off every night and put them in a box outside. That's when I escaped, when my mum was dying, when I slipped the cuffs. Yeah, I got put in stripes.
I remember in Walton they had to have
I've been in stripes. I've been in stripes 3 times now. 3 times. Once in Preston, Lancaster Castle, and in Strange Ways. Yeah.
Shows everyone
3 times
to escape. Doesn't it? You know what I mean?
I ended up going to my mum's funeral. It's a sad fact, but I went to my mum's funeral. I was in stripes, double cuffed. Yeah, double cuffed and with a closet chain as well. Fucking and strip search. No margarine this time.
Well, at least they let you go though.
No, do you know what? They let me go. They did let me go, but you know they could have said no.
You can be arseholes about that.
They could have been arseholes about it, yeah. You know, but. I was in a minibus and there were like about 8 of them. And I thought, well,
you're not going anywhere, are you?
No,
really?
I wasn't going anywhere this time.
I
thought about it though. I thought about it. I was thinking, if this man turns over now, you know, I was like,
20 mates at the funeral, overpower the guards,
you know what I mean?
Get souls.
Get a blade and take hostages and all. Fucking madness you think when you're in prison, you know, when you first get locked up, you're like, taking hostages in court and I'll get out, and you know what I mean?
Well, Samworth on his interview, he said to the guard, he went to took prisoners to some funerals, and then the people started kicking off.
Right, yeah.
And then the prisoner said, "Look, chill out, because these guys have gone out of their way like to get me here today and blah blah blah." They're not, because they got a bit worried. They thought they were going to get like,
they're going to be, because they might get attacked, Shaun. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, it's not like they can just press a button and the boys are going to be there. You know, they're probably like 2 up or even 3 up at a funeral, surrounded by people that are grieving, that have probably had a drink. Seen the mate in his cuffs and thought, do you know what? Let him off his cuff. Get him off his cuff. Let him off his cuffs for the funeral. Yeah. And do you know what? If I was an officer, I'd be thinking, fucking hell, you know. Especially it was a bit of a Larry, they were a bit Larry and that, you know. They all had a drink and there were a load of them there.
If you're watching this and you want to watch the Guard podcast or ex-con Cody podcast, Manchester Strange Ways Prison, there will be a description box below this video and a link will be in there. You can click over and watch those podcasts. So you get back from your 1 month medical now. Yeah. Are you put back to the same max security wing with those dudes?
No, I got put on another wing. They're moving to another wing. So, but obviously, even though you're in a jail, news travels, doesn't it? You know, doesn't matter. Do you know what? It doesn't matter if you could be in a different jail. News travels with phones. So I got put on another wing. All this had pretty much died down.
Is there a gang after you?
No, there's no gang after me because I wasn't part of a gang, and the boys that was in there at the time, there was a couple of lads from Moss Side in there that was in for shootings, and a couple of other lads from Salford. So there was a few of us that knew that it was just an isolated incident. It wasn't like kind of gang thing or some gang postcode thing or something brought from outside inside. It was just one of them mad incidences where somebody ended up getting stabbed, and it ended up being me with a tin of tuna, you know. So I ended up doing a few months and ended up getting recategorised, all because of that, and because I got injured. I got put down to a category B, and then from there I ended up where did I go into there? even remember where I went from. Was it Parkhurst? Ended up getting moved anywhere from there, and ended up getting my C-Cat and going to Risley, Lancaster Castle, and ended up getting released. Yeah. So.
What was Lancaster Castle like? Is it like Kirkhope?
Lancaster Castle's probably one of the best prisons I've ever been in. It's not shut down now, but it's a museum. But at the time, and it's one of the strangest places I've ever been in, because literally the wings are inside a turret wall. So if you think about a turret, is it circular? I don't know, but you got like a circular rampart, haven't you? Because it's built on old Norman ramparts. And so one of the wings is totally inside this circular rampart, so it's got like a circular set of stairs going up.
It's crazy,
so it's crazy, and it's like a semicircular wings, like doors across there, like a semicircle.
So your back wall's going to be like that, isn't it?
It's a small jail. It was 120 prisoners in there. So everybody knows everybody. The staff were sound in there. Probably one of the best jails that I've been to. No, I didn't see any violence in. I'd say I didn't see any violence. There were a lot of lifers in there, and I was in my 20s then, and they sent some like hairy ass lifers in there. And there was one in there, and he used to get in the shower, and every time he used to get in the shower, he used to get in the shower with me. Now I was a pretty big kid then, but I weren't really asked about anybody's show. I weren't really afraid of anybody, but this guy scared me. He was a lifer, he'd been in 15 years. This guy called Skin from Leeds, a big skinhead, and fucking mean looking cunt he was. And every time I get in the shower, he'd come in the shower and he frightened me. Do you know what I mean? I just think, but there were rumours going around like he liked a bit of both. Do you know what I mean? I was fucking, I was like, no, I'm not going to be me, mate. Do you know what I mean? But it does happen though, Shaun. That kind of thing happens.
Happens all the time.
I've seen it in jail. I've seen it. I've seen guys in cells with fucking candles and fucking all oiled up, and you see these things when you're in these long-term jails.
Called booty bandits in Arizona.
Is that booty bandits, yeah?
Yeah.
There you go. I don't know what they call them over here, but is it arse bandits?
Wronguns.
That's what they are. All oiled up with lavender at candles on and all that.
Yeah.
Oiled up.
All oiled up, do you know what I mean? Massaging each other. It's a sports massage though, Shaun, do you know what I mean? So it's right, innit?
Yeah.
Big muscular skinheads as well.
Big Nazi swastikas on them, like massaging shoulders and like, all right.
Yeah.
These guys doing, that's one of the things when my sentence was quite short. You got your tag on you outside your door, and these guys are doing like natural life, 35 years, 30 years, 25 years. Mine was like 7 years at the time, so I felt a bit bad. So what I did is I put a 2 in front of it.
To make it look better.
To make it look, make myself look a bit harder. Do you know what I mean? So I put a 2 in front of it, just to keep up with the boys. But
they'd first sent me down. They put your tag up. Mine was FD 3415. It's street robbery, 30 months.
Is that over here or is that?
That was over here.
Right. It must be mad getting jailed over there. I mean, it's just it's a different kind of setup altogether, isn't it? It's all gang related. Everything's gang related. Whites, blacks. You got the the Mexicans and stuff like that. Everything. As soon as you come into the system, you're categorised straight away. Obviously, we were the whites, weren't we? Do you know what I mean?
Well, the 30 months I did over there, I only actually did 15 of them.
Right.
But over there, I've had to have done I got 8 years, and out of the 8 I did 7.5.
Was that for the pills? That selling the pills, was it?
That was being the leading force of that.
Right.
Pills.
That's Shaun's fault then.
Yeah.
Shaun was Shaun number one at the top.
Well, man never got caught with any pills for some reason.
Do you know what? Because I was watching your thing about your case and stuff like that. Yours is quite moody because you never actually got caught with any drugs, did you?
I actually quit the importation almost a year before I got caught.
Yeah.
There's a statute of limitations in Arizona, so if you've done a drug offence and people tell the police that they've done a deal with you within the last 7 years,
that's what caught you.
That gets you. So they had 10 witness statements came forward. One of those was one of my main guys, actually. One of my main sales guys, Skinner. And him and Wildman had fallen out, and he turned us in. Yeah, he did like a firebomb attack on a Wild Woman's apartment. And all this stuff.
I was going to kill him.
Yeah. Oh my God!
Yeah. I never got caught with drugs. I'd always just eat them and give them to like prostitutes and fucking titty girl dancers. Get back to your story.
That's another story for another podcast, people.
When you went from the cat B's to cat C's, didn't you notice that the food got better?
Do you know what the food? Do you know what? To be fair, I think the food was a lot better in Cat Air, like in Long Larton and Full Sutton, because they don't want you kicking off there. You can buy your own food. It's all buying chickens. You can order from the freezer place. So I was ordering like steak and chicken and stuff like that, and you can cook it on the wings there.
So you're getting your own stuff.
Oh, you can get your own stuff if you've got the money. You can buy half a chicken or steak and cook it on the wings. So guys, they have these little pods. So you get like, you all put two and you'll all cook each other food. Or, do you know what I mean? So you can still get food off the server, but they do this is like a little thing to keep the guys happy. Some of these guys have got nothing to lose, Shaun. Do you know what I mean?
And when you're doing that, can you eat food with other races?
Of course you can. Do you know what? We don't have that kind of thing. Do you know we're starting to have it? Do you know we are starting to have it where
there's no need for it, really.
There's a lot of radicalism going on. Like in Full Sutton, where people are trying to get people radicalised with the Quran and stuff like that. You know, because that's one of the biggest gangs we've got over here is the Muslim gangs in jail. And that is it. There's just one gang over here, and that is the gang. You know?
Well, I've seen the videos from down London where they're going around parks and they're going through white people and slapping the shit out of them.
Of course, You would better,
like
change your religion.
You
know, when I was in Full Sutton, I seen it with my own eyes. You know, a guy they took the Quran in there and they started reading verses from the Quran and giving him food and basically grooming him. Do you know what I mean? Grooming. Actually grooming him. You know, you're going to come prayers with us on Friday. You're going to. On Friday you'll come in prayers with us and stuff like that, and you had to have something. You had to have a bit of something about you. Do you know what I mean? Because some of these guys.
Would other people see that? Did they help out? Like,
no. Do you know what? Nobody wants to get involved in these kind of things because some of these guys are fucking terrorists.
Going to blow you up.
Some of these guys are terrorists. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
Like Abu Qatada and all that. Not personally him, but he's kind of following and all that.
Got you, exactly.
These are dangerous people, do you know what I mean? They're not fucking idiots.
You don't want to stick your nose in and then your life and your family in danger.
You don't want to do that, and that's what can happen with these people, do you know what I mean? These are serious fucking people, that's why they're kept in these conditions,
I think they should have them in a different prison myself.
Something like, what was it, like they had over in the States, weren't it? Was it, was that Cuba? Where did they keep them all locked up?
Like in San Fran?
Gitmo.
What was it? Where they sent them all?
Yeah, they've got places in Cuba.
That's it. Sent them all there.
Did you come across any famous prisoners or famous gangsters?
Do you know what? I've seen Bieber. I know Bieber.
Bieber. Can you explain Bieber?
He's the guy that shot the coppers in Leeds. The two guys.
Why did he shoot? Why did he shoot the police?
We used to call him Nathan Wayne Coleman. I think he's called. He ended up. He was on the run from some shooting that happened in LA or somewhere like that. It was a shooting, and he killed a bodybuilder over there
in America.
In America over a drugs deal, and he was on the run for that over here in the UK.
In England,
and he changed his ID. He changed his identification, and he was hiding out in Leeds, being a bouncer, and he ended up going to a betting shop, and he was just doing his papers or something like that. And these two coppers in the car, they just thought, no, there's something not right about this car. So they pulled him, had him in the back of the car, and they just knew there was something not right about him anyway, and he ended up fucking getting a gun. He ended up shooting one of them.
Bloody hell, where was he from originally?
He was from Canada, I think. Was he from
Canadian?
I don't know if he was Canadian, but he had a Canadian accent, but he was definitely from America. And his name's Nathan Wayne Coleman, I think. And we called him David Bieber. His black name over here was David Bieber. He was in Full Sutton, and he tried to escape in Full Sutton. What he was doing, he was ringing. He was planning an escape, and they were using the chapel phone. So they were ringing through the chapel phone in the prison, thinking that every phone call in every of them prisons are all monitored.
You'd think the chapel phone they wouldn't
be because of people thinking,
exactly,
but he wasn't. And that's what he banked on. But that weren't the case. They were fucking listening to it, and they had him, and they moved him CSU, close supervision unit, and then gone Franklin. He's in Franklin now.
So if you've killed police, does that get you a degree of respect from the prisoners? Yeah,
definitely going to be people. People like that, don't they? Because people are going to get locked up, aren't they? In all cases in prison, it's us and them, innit? There's a hate for them because they're the ones that are getting us locked up. So he's getting the ultimate respect. I think it's sad, really. Do you know what I mean? What he's done, it's a terrible thing. I don't agree with it at all. I just don't agree with it.
So how would that respect be shown? Would you get like an extra milk or an extra whatever?
You'd probably get a bit of extra scanner or people talking to him and asking him, reminisce a story and stuff like that. a bit of extra food, maybe. Do you know what? A lot of it in jail, Shaun, as you know, it's all fake, innit? It's all fake friendships.
And at the end of the day, that policeman's done that wrong, really.
No, he's done nothing wrong. He's just doing his job, you know. What he did was wrong, you know. There's no two ways about it. I've been a criminal all my fucking life, and that were wrong, you know. No, there wasn't no need for it, you know, to do that. He could have fucking dealt with that a million ways better, you know.
What about any of these like legendary gangland figures from Salford and Manchester?
Do you know? I was saying from
the Noonans, Massey.
No, I haven't seen that. Do you know what? I have seen Newman. I've seen Dominic Noonan. When I got recalled last time, I was in Armley, and he was in Armley. He was down the segregation unit, and he was on his trial at the time, so he was going to court every day. So he used to pass through my wing. And I don't know him. I've never met him. I just know what's online about him. Personally, I wouldn't talk to him. Do you know what I mean? He's not the kind of guy that I would go over and say, "All right, blah blah blah." He's not the kind of guy that I would seek out personally. But that's just me. I used to see him come back from court, and he was in Armley store, and I heard a story about him that the screws spun his cell, and they said, "We've heard you've got a phone stuck up your ass." So apparently he pulls his pants down, boxer shorts, and does his shit on the floor and says, "Right, fucking, do you know what I mean? Finger that." I'd search through that, a big log on the floor, you know. That's what you're getting, do you know what I mean? Search through that, you know, a big log on the floor. Yeah. So
earlier on, you said you were a skinny teenager.
Yeah.
That something changed along the road.
Yeah.
When did it change?
I think it changed when I got bullied and got my trainers took off me. Yeah. Just thought, you know what? I'm not letting my trainers go again. Do you know what I mean? I thought, I know I've seen the other big guys, and I thought these big guys ain't getting bothered. Look, they're not fingy. Because it's all about front in prison. It's about how you look. Do you know what I mean?
Well, it's not like you had much money. What you had to pay for, didn't you?
To pay for it.
Yeah.
So I just thought, you know what? I need to get to the gym. So I started doing press ups in my cell. And you'd be surprised at how quickly you can develop your chest and your triceps and your shoulders from doing press-ups.
Did you make yourself a goal thinking, if I get bigger before I get out, I'm going to get my trainers back?
That's what I thought, as soon as I get my trainers back. Get my trainers back. I just wanted to get big, because I thought, if I get big, I get a bit of size. I'm going to get left alone, Shaun, you know. People will leave me alone, so that's what I started to do. Started to eat a lot more foods, little cake and custard and all that and stuff like that. Because you used to get loads of food back in the old days.
I used to like the cake and custard.
Yeah, they used to make their own stuff, didn't they?
Yeah.
They used to make their own duff, they called it, didn't they? In Strange Ways and all that.
Yeah.
You know, I used to get a full breakfast in Strange Ways, and the first time I went, I used to get 2 sausages, bacon, fucking full breakfast. And porridge on top, you know. And then it ended up going down to a tea pack at night time. So now you get, at night time for your breakfast, you'll get, for the following day, you'll get 1 milk, which is about 250 ml like that. You'll get a packet of cereal, 3 tea bags, 3 whiteners, and 3 sugars. That's for your breakfast.
So did you have a workout routine?
Yeah.
What was it? What exercises did you do?
Well, do you know, I used to train when I didn't used to get gym. I used to have a pole. I had an extended brush handle, like for scrubbing floors. I'd extended it. And what I used to do is, because I was clean, I used to get all these 5-litre drums, these 5-litre washing liquid bottles. So I used to empty them and I put water in them, so I could get 3 on each end. So I'd get 3 on that end, tie it with a sock, and a sock here to stop them from slipping, another sock, and I'd curl with that.
Yeah.
And I'd curl, and I'd have the biggest arms in the world. You know what I mean? Because I never trained anything. I never trained my legs. Put a pair of red socks on, I look like a thermometer with these legs.
See a lot of guys like that. The skinny legs look big.
I don't even know these legs hold me up anyway. So I'll just train my arms, and then I started training my chest. And people are like, when are you going to start training your legs, Dan? Do you know what I mean? It's like, you look like you've been in a wheelchair, for God's sake. Do you know what I mean? So you have the bottles, the water bottles, and do the press, and then you'd have single bottles for doing sides and stuff like that. And then when you got to the gym, you could get to the gym. Just depends what gel you was in, you know. All depends on what kind of gel you was in. Gym times and stuff like that, and gym equipment.
Well, the gym equipment in the English jails, are they free weights, or are they all machine?
Do you know what? You get a lot. It's a mixture of both. You get machine and free weight. you get all dumbbells and stuff. Like I said, I ended up with that scar right there in front of me head. I got a 5 kilo dumbbell smack right in my forehead. I was going to say,
because in America they took all the free weights.
I got a 5 kilo.
Some situations, weren't there? People got their heads caved in.
I've got a 5 kilo right
I like that, and other guys were coming up, getting one end each and just dropping it on
that's
the
what happened
neck.
to me. I was on the bench and got a 5 kilo smack right in my fucking...
What was the reason they did that?
Just over fighting on the wing, just getting involved in people's business, you know?
Yeah.
And the next thing, I don't even remember what happened. I just remember I was bench pressing. The next thing, I just woke up in healthcare and I've got a massive scar in front of my head, you know? Crazy. That was in young offenders. That was in Inley.
You got to learn at one point that young offenders, you're not going. It was gladiators.
That is absolutely gladiators.
You're looking after
Pepsi
yourself.
Watson talks about it.
You're looking after your mates. You're looking after else. But at the time you grow up with, it's just like unless the person's actually trying to hit you physically.
Yeah.
It's no to do. You
No, that's the thing. You know, the biggest weapon you've got in jail is this.
Yeah.
Is your mouth. Yeah. And that's what I've learned. You know, I've probably had a handful of fights, but this is your biggest weapon. Like last time when I ended up getting recalled, I ended up going back to Forest Bank, and I upset a guy in there, Scouts kid, and he was looking at 25 years. The kid was from Crocky, and he was up for some serious fucking charges. You know, he fucking firebombed houses and all sorts of shit. But I didn't know who he was. I just knew he was just a kid, and he was on this wing, you know. And I said to him, "Oh, you're going full Sutton, you, or you're going Franklin, blah blah blah." And he didn't like that. He took real offence to that. And he didn't speak to me for a couple of days, so I knew there was a bit of problem between us.
What, just for saying that?
Just for saying that. The kid was paranoid though, do you know what I mean? He's only a young kid as well, he's only turned 22, so he's young. I said it in front of his pals, so he's got to do something about it in his eyes. But it was just a comment, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I've gone up him, this is like 2 days later, so I'm having a piss in my thing, in my cell, and the door comes open, and he comes in there, and I looked at him like that, and he was fucking drip white. And I thought, you've not come here for a visit, you've come here to do something, you know, you just know. So I've got my fucking tackle out and I'm pissing. I thought, if he does something now, I'm fucked, Anna, do you know what I mean? So I managed to sort myself out. He's come in and I could see him with drip white.
You can't stop yourself pissing what you're pissing, could you know what I mean?
Couldn't get his, he can't stop, and he couldn't get his words out, and he was drip white, and I was like, I wanted him to get in and wanted him to sit down, do you know what I mean? So he was less of a threat, because I knew that he'd come to do something. And anyway, I got him talking after, blah, 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 blah. Next thing, he pulls his blade out. He's got a toothbrush. It's got a razor blade in it. And he starts talking like he's going to slash this kid up 3 doors down. I thought, you ain't going to slash him. You come to fucking slash me.
Yeah.
But your ass fucking went, do you know what I mean? You know, that was like a kind of the turning point. I thought, what the fuck am I doing, you know? Because he could have got me all the way down the side of my neck, you know, because I was...
If you weren't coming in, he'd probably done you in the fucking back.
Yeah.
If someone's going to stick you, they don't care where they stick you.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But like when you're thinking, what could he have done, you know? But I managed to talk him down, and then he got the blade out of his waistband. I knew it. I just knew what he'd come for. And then he tried to say, oh, no, this was for some other kid and all that. I thought, nah, that ain't that's for me, that, because of what I said the other day, you know?
So when you say it was a turning point, what do you mean?
I just kind of said to myself, you know, what am I doing? You know, putting myself in these situations with these young guys. I was like 40 at the time then, and this kid was like 20, 22. And I thought, well, I don't want to be rolling around with these 20-year-old lads coming back to jail and rolling around. You know, times have changed in prison, you know. It's just a lot more violence. There's a lot more phones about, a lot more spice, a lot more stabbings going on. And when you get a bit older, like me or whatever else, yeah, straight away you're a sex offender. Or, you know, you get a bit older, look at you, they think, he's wronging him. What's he in for? So straight away, without even anybody knowing, they've got you labelled straight away, you know.
And
that's a bad thing.
So they're not going to come at you fist to fist.
No, they're going to get weapons. You know what I mean? They're going to get something, and then I'm getting wigged. And that was what I was thinking. You know, because I wanted to get out of prison. I kept having these thoughts like, am I ever going to get out? You know, am I ever going to get out of prison? You know. It's just, that's the way.
I think if you like the gym, the best thing for you to do is get a couple of gym buddies and just stick with them.
Yeah, stick with a couple of people just to watch your back. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
a couple of people that you trust. Mm-hmm. You know, which is hard to find in prison. You know,
it's hard to find.
Yeah, very hard to find. You know, somebody that you trust. That, you know, I've had some good friends along the way, but no one that I'd ever stayed in touch with when I got out. You know.
You always say you do, don't you?
It's just bullshit, innit? When we get out, we'll go down there and we'll do this and we'll get off our heads and we'll, you know what I mean?
A year later,
we'll
what's his name?
Yeah, what's his name? Or when you get out, you ring them up and they sat there with the family and they're like, don't know what you're talking about, you know what I mean?
Yeah, when I was out, people would say like, yeah, I'm getting released, going to get a job,
yeah.
going to send you some money.
I'll look after
Send you some books to read.
Yeah, the old money.
You don't hear from them again until 6 months later when they're rearrested.
They come back in.
Yeah.
And they're calling for you.
Yeah.
Remember me?
You got any sugar?
Yeah,
he got out and he got when I got out something happened. Yeah, I had loads of them. You know, can you imagine like after doing like 13 years in prison, the amount of people you meet, it's just like upon thousands, you know, you meet them and you know, they're like promising, when I get out I'm going to send you some money in, I'm going to do this and do that. It's just a load of shit. The whole thing is, prison is just a load of crap, you know. It's just, if you can do anything about prison, is just stay out of there, you know what I mean? Don't take drugs, go to school and stay out of jail, do you know what I mean? Get yourself a decent woman, that's what I did, you know what I mean? I got a decent woman. That's the thing that's kept me out of prison, do you know what I mean? Yeah, she's kept me out of jail, because it had not been for my missus, I'd have been fucking locked up, definitely.
So throughout your entire incarceration, imagine you didn't have a single cell the whole time. Did you have some cellmates?
I have had single cells.
Did you have cellmates on other times?
Do you know what? I have had cellmates as well, and I've had cellmates that I really, really wanted to choke. Do you know what I mean?
What could you give us a story of your cellmates?
I'll tell you what. I can tell you a funny story about this guy that I was locked up in Stafford. I was telling my missus the other day, this guy was about 20 stone, he was massive, he was like that, yeah? And it was his first time in prison, he'd never been in prison before, so he was like green as grass. And really, I should have given him the bottom bunk, but I was fucking, you know what I mean, I had a bit of an ego, and I thought, fuck that, he can get on the top bunk. So he used to get on the top bunk with his wooden chair, you know, like his wooden school chairs, like a wooden flat thing there. So what I did is I got a load of fucking cocoa butter and I put it all over the fucking thing, yeah, all over the wooden seat, yeah. And we used to get up at like 6 a.m. for the server, and he'd hang his feet over the bed. And I'd be sat there, and this is what did me head in. He'd have these fucking mouldy feet, yeah. And he'd put them in my feet, he'd put them in my face, and I thought, you're not fucking doing that tomorrow. So when he's gone to put his 2 feet on the chair, he has just gone fuck off, slipped, nearly broke his back, yeah. And he's like a beach whale on the floor with like just a pair of boxer shorts on all the floor. I thought I nearly killed him. Nearly killed the poor guy, you know. His feet, I've never seen anything like his feet just went from underneath him like a bag of shit. It was just like a beach whale on the floor. And I realised, I thought I could have killed that poor fucker.
What was he in for?
He was only in for something stupid, like fighting with his neighbour or something, you know. Yeah. Never been in jail before, first time in, quiet as a mouse, proper big guy, you know, but quiet, really nice guy, and I nearly tried to kill him, do you know what I mean? That's the kind of mentality I had, you know, just like doing anything stupid. Or another one that I used to do is I used to be the wing barber, and what I'd do with people that I used to have longer, I'd clip on the top of the head here, so I'd give them a ball patch here, and they look like a friar tuck or something, so they're all longer, and then I'd fuck off with clippers, you know what I mean? Oh, a nasty bastard as well. And you'd take the clippers and then they have half an haircut, do you know what I mean? Or I put a stripe right there, fucking, you know, just things to keep you happy, you know.
How many different jobs did you have over the years?
Do you know what? I've probably had about 15 or 20 jobs, from cleaning was like one of my favourites, you know. If you get out cleaning, because you're out all day, you can get onto the screws to get things done, get your private cash checked, see when your visits are. Painting, I've been a painter, I've been a barber, I've been a gardener, I've worked on a car wash outside of prison, I've worked in a restaurant, I've worked in the kitchen. I've pretty much done everything that there is, you know what I mean?
What gardening did you have to do?
When I was at Kurt Levitt, I was a gardener. They had me, when I first got my D-cart, so to keep you close to the prison, what they do is they put you on gardening duty. Mm-hmm. So they're letting you out a little bit, they're giving you a bit of trust, but they're not letting you too far, so they let you out on the grounds around the prison.
So I'm
out picking
trading lead, just to see how far you actually wander.
Because I'd already absconded previously, and done an abscond and gone, ended up getting pissed, and then ended up running off with this nurse from the place that I was working at. So that was on my IPP sentence. So they had to recap me again. So when I got the gardening job working at Kurt Levitt, and so they like give you a bit of leeway to get out, picking litter up, and then you're walking about outside, and then they give you a bit more trust, and it just works like that.
Well, like you say, you get fresh air. I personally, I like my food. I like being in the kitchens, mate.
Yeah, got all the food, don't you?
Yeah. You come back, get the stuff, the cheese and stuff like that.
Yeah, just finding places to hide it, though, innit? Do you know what I mean?
Well, when it was down east, like fucking, like Kirkland, fucking.
Kirkland's not a bad jail, actually. It's a good jail. It's a big old jail.
Accrington,
Northumberland, yeah, that's a big jail as well. Yeah.
And Home House.
Yeah.
And they did have a thing there called Stotties. It's just like a big barm cake.
Right.
And traditionally they put pea and ham on it.
Right, pea and ham?
Yeah, but we'd make big ham salad sandwiches and they were fucking huge, like big lids. Yeah. But you could carry them back.
Right, you could have that as your... that was your thing, weren't it? That was your little... your little thing that you get from the kitchen and that. Yeah, I've been in the kitchen at Strangeways as well. You have to get taken over there. You have to get took through the tunnel, took off the wing, escorted over there. You get over, and that was back in the day when you used to have get full breakfast and all that.
Your little white hat, were you?
Little white hat. No, obviously I wouldn't have had to wear one, would I? You haven't got any hair, have you? But I've seen guys with fucking near big fucking things on their beards and all. Yeah, it's just fucking crazy, isn't it? Yeah. Well, the thing is, you can be a lifer. And you could be in for murder, and they'd be letting knives out and all sorts of shit. Like some of the knives they're letting out, I'm thinking, fucking 12-inch carving knives. I'm thinking, if he has a bad day, he's going to set about.
I've seen it. You see them all numbered, and
yeah, they're all numbered on tellies, aren't they?
Like a little chains all the way through.
Yeah, old thing. Yeah.
But once the guy's got it, he's got it. You know what I mean?
But even up to category A prisons are still letting them knives out. You know, they're not.
You know
what I mean? Yeah, you got to have
a
knife.
You think they'd easy way now.
Yeah, they think they'd have these cardboard knives or carbon knives, because they can make them out of thing, can't they? Can make them out of carbon and cardboard. You know.
The worst prison job I personally had was when I first got in Walton, and they put me in. Sewing, making shirts,
mailbags and shit like that.
Mailbags,
yeah. That's why I was in Lancaster Castle, and I put me on sewing, and there was obviously, it's not like a proper made jail, so they put these rooms wherever they can. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So you go up above the old cells that's in the keep. And they've got this little room and there's 5 sewing machines in there, do you know what I mean?
And that was it, yeah.
Yeah, and I was just sat there thinking, fucking
I'm
made for this.
It's absolutely shameless.
So I'm doing anything to get out of there, do you know what I mean?
Catching my finger, things going too fast.
Putting 5 apps a day in, do you know what I mean? to get on the server, to get to the gym and all that, because I just couldn't get the gym. I'd have the bottles in my cell and, driving my fucking cellmate mad with all the bottles and all that. Just anything to get a decent job.
Did it get to the point where you had to make your own shanks?
Yeah, do you know, I've never really had to do anything like that. I've never really fingered. I've had batteries in a sock and stuff like that, and I had to pick pool balls up and then put them back down. But the thing with me is, obviously, because I'm a big guy and all that, there's always that thing that I might go over the top, do you know what I mean, and actually really, really do some damage and end up killing somebody.
You'd rather do it with your fist, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I'd rather do it with my fist, do you know what I mean?
You can level it out that way a bit, can't you?
Yeah, but a lot of people don't want to do that now, do you know what I mean? No. They want to use weapons, especially inside. There's so many things you can make weapons out of. It's unbelievable.
It's just shit houses. That's why. Isn't it?
I've seen boiling water. I've seen boiling ghee. I've seen boiling fat poured over somebody. I just strip the skin straight off him.
I've seen that with water and sugar.
Water and sugar, and with oil, water and sugar must be painful, I can imagine. But oil, boiling oil over somebody, just took the skin straight off him.
Do you know what that was for?
That was just for a drug debt, just for money. You get into debt in some of these prisons and you don't pay them. It's all about face, isn't it, Shaun? It's just, if someone owes you 100 quid and they're not going to pay you, all right, it's 100 quid, but other people are going to start taking liberties with you then, aren't you? So you got to do something about it.
You're an easy target, aren't you?
Yeah, you're an easy target. I've seen some of the worst things I've seen in jail. I've seen a guy get slashed down his face, opened his cheek up for a half ounce of baccy. Started off as an eighth, which was you get an ounce packet, and then they cut them up into these deals. So that quarter back, it was supposed to be half ounce back.
Yeah.
So we did give it him back, and then it turned into an ounce. So it was all over about an ounce of back. Slashed him all the way down the side of his face, opened his cheek right up. And that was in Stafford, and I was like, what was all that about? It was over at that time, £3 of a backy.
So what had to work out? Like say you get him in little gold Virginias like that,
yeah.
and you buy him half at the time.
Yeah.
Well, You buy when you go to the actual canteen, you buy them like full. But when you've gone out through the week, it's normally the porters or whoever's doing the cleaning. And put it through your door for you.
A bit of back,
it's half and get a full one
back.
Which you should be able to think you should be able to take that debt on.
Stop smoking in prisons now, aren't they? Apparently, you're not allowed to smoke, are you? You imagine that, getting locked up in court if you smoke and then going. I know it's just a recent thing, but
I hate that, mate.
Smuggling
There's
tobacco.
Stress relief, like that.
Stress relief smoking, and then.
Well, would you imagine? People would be just plugging it the same as with drugs.
Definitely. Can you imagine?
They'll probably get the same amount of money though.
Back here, we go through the roof, won't it? Tobacco, worth a fortune.
Market.
Well, the thing is, you need to. I don't think you need to, but you need to smoke spice. You probably smoke it with a bit of backy. You know what I mean? So I can imagine like the ambulances were like going through the roof. Because it was.
I've never tried that spice.
No, I tried it when I was in Arm Lane. I tried a couple of drags of it and I just thought, this is not for me, do you know what I mean? It's like literally smoking acid. I don't know if you've ever took acid, but it was like smoking acid, and I was just like, how the fuck do you smoke this?
Lethal. So we did MBS.
That's that thingy, is
Mind, Body and Soul.
Like smoking that, but like horrible it were. Just instantly paranoid straight away. But it's absolutely flooded. And like when I was in open conditions, there was that they used to call it meow meow, but they call it MCAT. But there was no test for that, and that is a lot like ecstasy. It's like ecstasy, cocaine, and amphetamines together. So when I've got to open conditions, there's fucking loads of that about, and you can't test you for it, so there's no drug test for it. So everyone's getting away with it. So I'm like, right, give me a bit of that. Do you know what I mean?
I always thought people would want to be because I did uppers too. I was in there, but you'd always think that I should be doing. I know when I was in Accrington, I was doing these things called Temagesics.
Semis, and
they're just twos or fours. You know what I mean?
Twos or fours, they're quite popular.
But they make you nice and sleepy. They make you get good sleep.
The thing is with tablets like that, they're all screened for on thingies, on drug tests. So if you get caught, you're knackered. So like with these legal eyes, there was no test for them.
No,
do you know what I mean?
No.
So that's why I used to think
GHB.
GHB.
You can't come up on anything.
So I'd be up all night, absolutely off my box, fucking watching porn, wanking all night. Do you know what I mean? I was so ran by the end of the night. That's your love life though, when you're like you're a lifer. Do you know what I mean? Running around trying to get a porn DVD.
Then you got some big skinhead coming in the shower.
Do you know what I mean? Get the worst of the worst porn though. Do you know what I mean?
Did you see our recent YouTube video?
Yeah, I watched
Can you wank in prison?
Yeah. Do you know what? You can wank in prison, but you've got to time it just right.
Yeah, I've got to time it
just
right,
after the last count. I always remember getting caught when I was a young guy.
You got caught?
I caught bang to rights. It was a dinner time, over dinner, and I got some magazines. Back then, they had magazines.
Yeah.
Fucking pages stuck together, all DNA all over them. I got it like a Reader's Wives or a Razzle or something. Fucking filth. So I've got it, and I'm trying to rip the pages open to get a decent look, and I'm lying them all on bed, looking for all decent shots, you know what I mean, where they're all fucking just like... where you can still get a clear view. So I've got them all laid out in my bed and on bottom bunk. So anyway, we've got my pants down and all that. I was starting getting going and all that.
That cleavage will do that.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that'll do. All the dirty pictures, all the smutty pictures, and I'm just getting going. And next thing, the fucking flap just opened.
Oh!
It's only a fucking female staff doing an extra count at dinner time. She went, "Oh, dirty man, like that." Yeah. So I've never been so embarrassed. Pulled my pants up. Come outside at dinner because I'm on the serving food and all that.
Yeah.
So what I've done is come out.
Wash my hands.
So what I've done is come out, and I didn't even wash my hands. So come out. I didn't give a fuck about that. So come out, and then I stuck my name tag with next doors. Didn't matter anyway because it had a fucking number. But I got caught bang to rights there.
So they get to the point like Wildman said in the video where you switch not just from left to right, but then you switch from going that way to go that way.
A guy that was facing me in Grendon, and a lifer called Jimmy. And he made this thing, I kid you not, and it was out of a bog roll tube, and it was you should get rubber glove. It was a blue rubber glove.
Oh, a foofy.
I don't know what it was, and he went, "Do you want that?" And he put fucking cream all over it. It was like a bog roll tube and a hole. And I'm thinking, you dirty bastard. Do you know what I mean? He's like, "Do you want to borrow it?" And all that. I was thinking, fuck that, man. Do you know what I mean? But that's on another level, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's like a fake vagina, I suppose, isn't it? You know, it's like a fake vagina without the.
I've known people with holes in the mattress and they put the tube in and they made the foofies.
Do you know that's all they call?
Glove.
Yeah.
Like bit of oil
I can imagine. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what? I had never done it myself, but I think I got to the point of like where you just like exhausted yourself of fucking memories after 10 years, you know what I mean? You're running around trying to get fucking porn mags with fucking
One of the
stories.
best ones is just sit on your hand for 10 minutes
Yeah,
and
sit
use
on your
that
hand for
because it's
10
a dead
minutes,
hand.
Or use your left hand or something like that. Fucking hell, eh?
What about, was there any sex going on with prisoners and female staff?
Oh, do you know what? When I was at Camp Hill, there was a couple of incidents went on in there. My pal was knocking one of the screws off. And do you know what? The funny thing is, I got on it because I said to him, she came over one day, she worked in a block facing, and he's finished work, he's come on, this guy, and she's come on after him. And I'm just the interaction was a thing. You know, when you're in prison, your fucking observation, you're on everything.
Yeah, you're
you know
on
what
everything.
I mean? Anything that's changed or different, you think, okay. So I'm watching her, I interact with him, and I'm thinking, he's fucking banging her, do you know what I mean? Because you could do in this jail, do you know what I mean? You could get away with it. It was a Category C prison. It was pretty open. And he came up at tea time and was like, you're fucking shagging her. He went, no, I'm not like that. And I went, fucking right, you are. And he never said nothing, do you know what I mean? And then 2 days later, he just gave me the smile like that, and I thought, you silly cunt, that's how people get fucking caught, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Telling people. But he worked the other one, this black kid.
Or people get jealous.
Yeah, he got jealous. And this black kid was from London, and he was banging this other bird, this massive fat bird who was on education. She weren't really a screw, but he was banging her. She was coming on the wing. They were going upstairs, doing the education talk, and he shut the door, and he was getting up to his old tricks in there with her. You know, it was just rife in there, you know.
Fair play to him, innit?
Yeah.
Another one of our most watched videos is what happens to big guys in prison.
Right.
So how would you answer that?
What happens to big guys in there? It just depends. I mean, as in what way though, Shaun?
Well, like, if you're a big guy going in, are you targeted?
Oh, right,
Are people
okay.
trying to make the reputation off you? Or being big, does that put people off having a go?
I suppose really that's all about reputation. I mean, if you go in there and you've got a bit of a reputation and somebody wants to get a reputation for themselves, then you might be in a bit of trouble. Do you know what I mean? They might want to do something to get a name for themselves. You know, they might want to do you some harm.
Did you experience that?
Do you know what I did? I have experienced it. I have experienced that with people wanting to get a name for themselves by attacking you and stuff like that. Obviously, when you get a name and you're in the prison system and people know who you are, you just, you know, it's all about thinking there, and it's all about getting a badge and, you know, moving up ranks and people getting a name for themselves, and it's all about fear and it's all about intimidation. I've had a couple of experiences where, you know, I've had incidents with people in prison where it's just been over nothing, been fights over nothing, or there's been some sort of interaction, you know, where they've just been trying to get a name for themselves, you know. It's just...
And did that end up with a fight then, those situations?
One ended up in a fight, one ended up with a dumbbell. I ended up with a dumbbell in the side of my head. Another kid ended up with a dumbbell in his side of his head. That wasn't even me, that was, my pal did it. That was over cleaning the fucking floor in the gym. Cleaning the floor, little argument got out of hand. And that's why I'm saying, never judge a book by its cover. This guy was only about that big, but fuck me.
You want it clean in the gym,
right
though, don't
handful.
you?
What's that?
You want it clean or nice and clean?
Yeah, you want it nice and clean. So, never judge a book by its cover. So I ended up having a fight with him. I ended up going through my legs. My mate ended up picking a dumbbell and sticking it clean over the head, and nearly killed him. Do you know what I mean?
You need bits like that, though.
I was like, but he nearly, do you know what I mean? I was like, lad, that was a bit too much, you know what I mean? Ended up wigging him, put 40 stitches in his head or something, and ended up going, you know. It's just, if you're a big guy, you can get trouble, do you know what I mean? But most times you just get left alone, Shaun, do you know what I mean? That's why.
If you handle yourself correctly.
You know why? Because prison's full of predators, you know, always waiting to prey on somebody. If people see somebody there, prisoners see somebody that are vulnerable and weak, they will fucking exploit and they'll be all over you. If they see someone that's big, who looks the part, who can look after themselves, they'll leave you alone, do you know what I mean? It's all... You know, because we're all in there for committing crimes, you know, we're all in there for doing things to people, so we're always looking for... I always think in jail, it's you either be bullied, you're either a bully, or you're being bullied, do you know what I mean? It's just like that, you know.
So young people watching this then, what prison survival advice would you give them if any of them were heading?
I think, you know, one of the biggest things you could do is keep yourself to yourself, Shaun. You know, is go in there, keep yourself to yourself. Don't talk to people. Don't be loud in front of people. Don't tell people what you've got. you know what I mean? Don't be one of these pretend millionaires. Oh, I'm a millionaire outside and all that old chestnut, yeah? Just keep your mouth shut, keep yourself to yourself, and you'll always be all right. Don't get drugs off anybody. Don't borrow anything off anybody. You know, and yeah, you'll be fine. You know, if you work like that, long as when people start getting into drugs in jail, Shaun, that's it. That's when that's a fuck up.
And don't gamble as well.
Yeah, don't gamble, because that can thing. You can see people with cards and that. People with cards or gambling on the wing, and you can just easily get in there. And before you know it, you're in debt. You know,
and it starts off at 10-20p a game as well.
Gambling's one of the worst addictions.
Yeah,
gambling's one of the worst addictions. It is worse than drugs. Gambling, because there's no limit. You know, to gambling, there's no limit. Drugs, you can only take so many drugs in a day, and you'd probably be out of it. Gambling, there's no limit to gambling. Do you know what I mean?
Once you're down so much, you're trying to chase it.
Yeah. So, like, in your first time in jail, keep yourself to yourself. If anybody says anything to you, then front them out straight away. Because 9 times out of 10, it'll just be bravado by somebody, you know. Because the jail's full of bullies, Shaun, you know, like yourself, you know.
So if they call you out, you're saying front them out, go in the cell and just have a fist fight?
Definitely, front them out. I don't even think 9 times out of 10 it'd even get there. You wouldn't even get to a fist fight, because I think 90% of guys in jail have probably never had a fucking fight in their life anyway. No. But you'll get the 1%, and you get like, so between the 1 and 10% that have actually been brought up, can actually fight and look after themselves. And they're the kind of guys that are quiet. They're the guys that will... You won't even know. You'll be sat next to them, you're thinking, they'll just be quiet, and the next thinking, just when they want to turn it on, they'll just turn it on. But they say the empty vessels are the loudest, do you know what I mean? That's a true saying.
And it's not even big guys, it could be small little guys, it could be shit on it.
Yeah, just think it, you know.
Boxing, you don't know, do you?
Never judge a book by its cover, you know. It doesn't matter. Just because a big guy's a big guy, you get a tap in the bollocks, you're going down, you know. It doesn't... You know, little guys have got a lot to prove, and little guys are the ones that have been bullied all their life by bigger guys, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? This is why they get little man syndrome. Do you know what I mean? Or, you know, I can just imagine. I can just like think of the comments now. You know, Shaun's got another ex-baldy on. I've got another baldy on. Like, you know what I mean?
There's the fat bastard. Yes, that's me.
When are you going to get
sober today?
When are you going to get somebody with hair on? Do you know what I mean?
So a young person going in then. What about advice? Dealing with guards and staff.
Dealing with staff. My take on that is just to be friendly, me. And that's what I was. I was just friendly to staff. I got on with staff. And it made my time a lot easier. I never, ever got into any difficulties with them. Because I just think that's just a one-way ticket just to doing hard time, Shaun. Do you know what I mean? There's 2 ways you can do your time. You can do it easy, you can do it hard. And you can have your time made hard. By prison staff, you know, they don't have to assault you or thingy, but they can make your time difficult, you know.
If you start gobbling with them,
of course they've got the power to do that, you know.
Start tossing your cell out.
Yeah, you know, spinning you. They can make you late for your visit. They can do. They've got, you know, they're all connected, or they could have friends in reception, and you could have some property handed in, and they can delay that. They can. There's tricks they can do to play on the mind, you know. They're not. Of course, you know, if you want a thingy, but my take is just. Just get on with them, you know, the best you can.
Be respectful to
them.
them.
I've met a lot of people, a lot of prison officers that I would go for a pint with, definitely. Do you know what I mean? I would rather talk to them than some of the cretins that I've met in jail, you know. I would 100%, you know. Jail millionaires that ain't got a pot to piss in, that are gangsters outside, that are, you know, in for beating the missus up. Do you know what I mean? Like, jail's full of them. And so I'd rather talk to a prison officer half the time, even if you get called a snitch, you know, which I have been called a few times, but do you know what? You're going to say it to my face, which they don't, you know.
I was going to say, when you said friendly, there's got to be somewhere you've got to draw the line.
Yeah.
Because my attitude was, if the more you expose yourself to anything, the more it can harm you.
Right.
So I minimised exposure.
Right.
But if I was dealing with the guards, I'd just like answer them politely, respectfully, but not really engaged.
You don't be on your own and have them sat on your bed like. You know what I mean? That's a bit.
Well, I got friends.
I was showing a brownie.
Showing a brownie. I got friends with one guy who was a member of staff, and he was into bodybuilding and training and stuff like that. And when I was working in the seg, he was working there, so we got chatting about stuff and all that, and he's telling me he'd been on steroids and all this kind of stuff, like just blah blah blah. So anyway, one day I'm on the wing, and the next thing he comes down to the wing with a fucking bodybuilding magazine right in front of everybody. But now he's security. He's moved up from the seg. He's on security. He's men in black. Do you know what I mean? He's come down in front of everybody. He's like, yeah, Dan, I've got this fucking bodybuilding mag. I'm like, oh my God, fucking hell, don't do that to me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's coming me selling everything. He's giving me the magazine. You know? But I'm just used to chatting with him down the segregation unit, just talking about life and stuff, about family and that, and he's come down to give me this mag, being nice.
He should have known better though, shouldn't he? Really?
He did. He should have done, but he didn't. I had to pull him. I said, listen, Chris, you can't do that, You can't come to the wing and do stuff like that, do you know what I mean? People are going to start talking.
Yeah.
He was being nice about it.
He was a nice enough guy, actually.
No, he was sound. I mean? He was sound, He was all right. During my time, I'd rather get on with them than some of the cretins,
Well, at least they're real, aren't they?
Yeah, that's the thing. You're not talking about real things. I'm not talking about people burgling people's houses. And I don't want to know about robbing people's houses. You know what I mean? I don't want to know. I never talked about my crimes when I was in prison. You get people talking about the crimes and what they do and all. I never talked about my crimes ever with anybody in any real depth. You know what I mean? People knew. But I worked one for talking about burgling houses and stealing cars and and glorifying it and all that. Just you don't know.
You're going to get snitches then, just putting you in so they can get the sentences reduced.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Well, I've got stealing crimes as a victimless crime. They get the insurance back on it.
What's that?
Stealing cars.
Stealing cars.
It's like a victimless crime, isn't it? Really?
Oh, don't say that. Comment section's going to go like that. That's not a good one, mate.
Wildman's opinions represent Wildman.
Yes. Well, if they get the car robbed, get the insurance back.
Oh my God! I can just see the comments now going.
As long as my car's still there when we come out. So if you're a young person coming in then, there's this peer pressure for taking the drugs. Yeah. How easy is it for a young person to resist that, to stay off the drugs in prison?
Do you know what? It's not easy at all. Because if you've been say you've had a drug problem or you've been smoking or whatever, and you go into prison, it's just rife in there, and people are willing to give it to you to get you in debt because they want you in your pocket. You know what I mean? They want you. They want to get control of you. Do you know what I mean? They want your canteen. They want your money. So they'll pretty much give you what you want and then get you in debt.
Or they might want a big boy in the corner too to go and collect money for them.
You know what I mean? I always have a big boy to go and collect all the debts and stuff like that. Go and collect the canteen on a Friday or whatever it is. But it's unavoidable in prison. I mean. Apart from locking yourself in your cell and keeping away, it's pretty much in your face all the time. You have to have some serious strong willpower, serious strong willpower. And I mean, I didn't, for quite a long time I was using drugs in jail, and until I got to the stage where I was like getting positive drug tests. I ended up getting about 15 E's off this guy one day coming from Crown Court. Obviously, when you're coming from court, you're getting sentenced, so he got a parcel and plugged it. Mm-hmm. So he fucking brought about 100 pills in with him, an ounce of weed and loads of other shit. So I'm on reception, me. So I got talking to him. So as soon as he tells me he's come from court and he's been sentenced, I know he's got something. So I'm like, blah blah blah. He's like, yeah, I've got a lot of fucking pills and all that. I was like, sort me some out, I'll give you some back, blah blah blah. So I ended up getting like 20 E's and I absolutely ate of my face. Yeah, it took about 5. So lied on my bed, fucking space cadetted, and then the next morning, the security have come through. Now I've got a tube as toothpaste on the side that I've got with piss in it. So when I get a piss test, I can think it. But I didn't have it on me. It was on the windowsill. Yeah. So they've come in. They've fucking found the tube of piss, haven't they? And obviously thought, right, he's up to something because why would he have this? I'm still absolutely off my face, off these pills. So they're taking me down now for a strip search. I've fucking took my clothes off, my fucking jaws all over the place, gurning me back out. I couldn't even stand up straight. I swear to God, my fucking cock was about that big, yeah. That was the worst thing about it, yeah. I'm trying to have a piss, yeah. I'm fucking like a little acorn.
Shrinkage.
And they're watching.
Shrinkage.
You don't help watching.
And he's like watching me like that. There's a big mirror like that, and I swear to God, it was like a little acorn. I was like, fucking hell. And I was like, he was like, have you had something? I had to tell him because the test was going to come back anyway. He went, what the fuck have you had? And I was like, I've had a lot of ecstasy. I said, listen, I'm struggling to piss. He was like, right, all right, I'll give you a bit of privacy. But fucking hell. The test ended up coming back positive. MDMA, MDA, and amphetamine. So I ended up getting fucking done for all that. Oh my God, yeah, but trying to piss when I was off my face.
Well, at least you know there were decent pills though.
And but the worst thing about it,
You didn't get wrecked.
because I still had 5 in my pocket, and I knew I was going to get strip search on the way down there.
Yeah.
And I thought, fuck me, they're going to catch me with these 5. I thought, no, fuck it. So on the way down to the drug test, I bet the 5, haven't I? So when I've got in there, I've already been up all night and I've just had another 5. Like, third degree gurns, you know what I mean? Oh my God, yeah. So it's no wonder I couldn't get my act together.
I've been that high when I've tried to piss in the fucking bottle.
Oh, it was horrible.
My piss has just gone that fucking way.
Yeah.
So what little bit of piss I could get, didn't even
you got to
get
get
in the
like,
bottle, you know what I mean?
you have to piss in a cup and you have to get like 50 ml. And you've got a big mirror above you. You've got like a massive mirror above you. It's like something you get in a supermarket. And then you've got a guard here, and you've got another guard doing the paperwork. And there's no music, there's nothing, and you've got to stand there, and he's watching you with your cock out, and you've got to piss, and they're like, I can't do it, me.
They give you a certain time, I think in America.
You've got 5 hours or something.
They give you like an hour. You go there and you like little cups of water.
Yeah.
But you might have just been in the toilet. Sometimes you just can't piss, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're doing Peter gazing.
Yeah, and they're just looking over like that.
Yeah. I used to get on trying to turn tap on, put some music, and I'll just talk. I said, will you please talk?
Yeah.
You know, there's a silence, like...
Or even let the tap drip a bit or something.
It's the thought of them watching you with your cock out, innit?
Put your balls under cold water.
You know, getting searched and making you lift your bollocks up and fucking bend over, and, you know, I just...
So if you can't piss in the UK, is that an automatic fail like in America?
Straight away. It's automatic. You're getting done, and you're getting a nicking straight away, because then they're saying we don't know what you've got in your system and you're trying to hide it. You get 5 hours and you get an extra hour if the nurse says your finger. So I had difficulties all the time. Every time I went for a piss test, I couldn't piss. I was there for hours, just trying to piss in front of somebody. I don't know if you've ever been to the toilet or cubicle or whatever. Someone's next to you. You know, but when a prison officer, after a full strip search, is actually to lift your bollocks out and open your ass cheeks, there's a shopping fucking mirror in front of you watching your cock, try and piss. Do you know what I mean?
And you don't want to fucking...
While you're
you don't know about it, so you got no warning.
Yeah, you don't know warning.
They're all surprised, aren't they?
They just jump on you, they just knock in the morning, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, so I used to start filling myself full of water, you know what I mean, after that, so I could
piss.
Go. So I'd be walking around tanked up with water, because you could get away with it by drinking water.
So if you're a failure in the UK, what privileges do you lose?
If you fail it, you go straight on basic. And basic is you get no visits, you're locked up.
No canteen.
You get no canteen. You get you get like £2.50 canteen. You get £2.50 canteen. It's just to give you access to the phone and stuff like that. You get restricted exercise, restricted association. Everything's restricted, you know. It is literally, you get no TV, so you're just in your cell. You can have a radio, I think. You can have like a cheap radio, and you're just locked off all the time, really. It's just like going back to the 90s, really. That's all it is. Basically, going back to the 90s with an old radio.
Same in America, but what the worst of the American one is they'd actually take your fan from you.
Oh,
you're in the fucking desert for fuck's sake.
From what I'm watching with you guys, they're absolutely red hot.
Fucking hell.
Absolutely burning hot. I've seen documentaries about it. It's just absolutely... Arizona's, like you're saying, one of the hottest places, isn't it? You know, 50 degrees or something you were saying.
Yeah, almost 50 in the summer.
Yeah, we're selling it. When cheese starts to melt, that tells you something, doesn't it? You know. You know, it's, that is like, you know, our graft in it.
Cheese was like orange juice, wasn't it?
Oil on it.
Oil, yeah.
Just we didn't like oil on the windowsill.
Yeah, it's a different ball game over there, isn't it? You know, it's a total different ball game altogether.
So what gave you the strength to get off the drugs?
I think the thought of that I was never going to get out, and I was never going to see my kids again, and I was just going to get old in jail, and I was just going to die. One of my biggest fears was I was going to die in jail, that I was going to get cancer, and I was going to die, and I was never going to have a life for myself.
Because you had this indeterminate sentence, then it wasn't guaranteed you would ever get out.
Oh no, I didn't even realise when I got sentenced. Nobody even knew what had gone on with the sentencing. I thought I'd just got 8 years, but I didn't. I ended up getting 4 years IPP, which was the 8 years cut in half, and then I added a life tariff on. So nobody really knew what the fuck was going on, you know. So I got this sentence, and basically it's like 99 years on the computer. So when I found out that I've got like 99 years on the computer and I've got a life tariff, my head just went, because I didn't have a release date. You know, I ain't murdered anybody, I ain't raped anybody. Yeah, I'd done 2 robberies, but, you know, I never physically hurt anybody, do you know what I mean? And I've ended up getting a life sentence.
Bit harsh, like, isn't it?
It was a bit harsh, and they changed the sentencing after that, and I wouldn't have got it. I fell unlucky, that's why I got IPP. My violence and my robberies are mostly instrumental, do you know what I mean? So getting back to what you're saying, I was like on the wing and I was thinking, I'm going to get old, I maybe die in prison. You know, what are you going to do? You know, are you genuinely going to sort yourself out? Are you just going to talk shit all your life? And I met a guy called Ian McLaughlin, and that's another funny story. He ended up killing somebody on a fucking home leave, and it was him. He said to me, he'd been at Grendon. He was at Grendon TC, and he said, why don't you do something? Why don't you sort yourself out, get some therapy, see what's going on in that nut of yours, and try and work it all out. And he was the one that put me onto the TC.
What's a TC?
Therapeutic community. So I went to the TC at Grendon, therapeutic community at Grendon. So we do groups in there. It's like a group therapy. You all sit in a group and you talk about your issues and stuff like that. You talk about your past. And you basically, what you do is you go back to the beginning and you start to unpick everything at pivotal points in your past where things happen, traumatic incidents and stuff like that. So you talk about your childhood all the way through to your offending. To try and get some real deep understanding of where it all went wrong, Shaun, you know.
Well, from there you could figure out roughly, couldn't you? If you went back and
yeah.
Well, that spot is where I started doing this. I started doing
definitely,
that.
You know, a lot of it for me was triggered around my brother's death, and when my family split up. You know, obviously when my brother died, my mum had a breakdown. She had a mental breakdown, and she blamed me for my brother's death. She wanted someone to blame, and she blamed me. She used to say,
she didn't mean that.
No, she didn't mean that at the time, but I didn't know that. I was 10, you know. Being 10-year-old and being told that you're responsible for your brother's death, you know, you do. I was like, I didn't know. She used to get drunk and stand over me and accuse me, and I didn't realise what was going on, but all that had a massive effect on me, you know.
Yeah, it would do.
Even in my relationships as an adult man, I always thought that, you know, I was going to be left and abandoned, and, you know, I always had this feeling that I was always going to be abandoned, and that was all linked to my drug use and my offending, you know. It was, but that was a turning point for me when I went to that prison. It was a turning point. I would say it changed my life in some ways, you know. I got a deep understanding of where I've been going wrong, and you know, I put to rest some you know, some serious demons, I'd say, Shaun, you know, some serious demons.
It's good to hear you had a positive experience with some of the staff.
Yeah, very positive experience. I mean, not just at Grendon, but other prisons. I've been quite lucky like that. I've only ever bumped into 2 prison officers that I've said to myself, I'd fucking love to see you outside. Just 2 out of all the time in jail, you know.
What had they done?
One was when I was escaped from the hospital and I went to see my mum. We ended up back in Stripes, and I was in Preston, and I was only allowed out. I wasn't allowed out at all unless I got doubled up with somebody. So what I did is I started scratching my wrist, because I knew that if I was classed as self-harm, that I would be doubled up and the cell door would get left open.
Yeah.
So that would give me access to get out to ring my mum, do you know what I mean? So that's what I did. I manipulated the system, but I did it so I could talk to my mum. She was dying. So I got padded up with this guy and I did all that. And anyway, we're getting out, and I was in the phone box and I was in my Stripes. So I was in, it's like, for Stripes, it's like once you've escaped, they put you in this suit. It's like a blue and yellow striped jumper or whatever, stand out from everybody else.
Yeah.
So I'm in the phone box and I'm talking to my mum, and this screw from Preston, he come in and he just ripped the door open, he just ripped the phone right out of my hand and fucking slammed it down and said, you shouldn't be out, do you know what I mean?
Cheeky bastard.
Obviously, there's a lot of emotions going on, do you know what I mean? I'm thinking, I fucking love to choke you, do you know what I mean? And I don't know, I just kept my head about it, but yeah, I ended up going back in the cell.
That could have easily been more time.
Oh yeah, definitely. I could have. The things that were going through my head,
you could have gone for him there and then.
Yeah, definitely. Just in that moment, you know, because my mum, you could hear her voice and she was poorly, and it was very emotive. Do you know what I mean? And you just come in like not just like nothing, just cold as ice, rip the phone out of my hand, no asking anything, just like bam, phone down, cell, you know.
So you're at the end of your stretch now. You're reflecting. You're countering your demons, and what are you thinking about what's going to happen when you get released? How are you going to stay away from crime?
That was the thing about I wanted to move away, you know. When I got out, I wanted to move away from where I was.
Yeah.
Because I thought, if I move away from where my old friends and you know, old associates and stuff like that, people are not going to ask me to do something. I might not fall back in with it. So my plan was to move away, to move out of my area. But I was forced to come back to my area, you know. When I got paroled, I was forced to come back there because my children are there. They said that I needed to bond with my children. That was an issue, that I needed to bond with them. Because I couldn't bond with them. I fucking spent no time with them, do you know what I mean? I didn't know them. I've been in jail for fucking 12 years.
Yeah.
And how can you bond with a kid on a visit? You know, you can't. So they said that was an issue and I needed to address that. So that's what brought me back to the area, you know. So that brings a lot of feelings back up of all the past. You know, all your friends, you know, people still being about. I couldn't get a job. Nobody had touched me with a job, and nobody's willing to give you the chance. You know, it's just you've got all the qualifications. You've kept your head down. I worked hard. You know, I worked really hard in prison. I worked so hard. I just really, really wanted to change my life. Really wanted to turn it around. Not just talking the talk or giving lip service. I was serious about it. So I did all the qualifications and I did stuff to get a job. So I'm thinking, when I get out, I'm going to get employment. But
instead of beating your head against a brick wall.
And I get out and it's just like, you have to disclose your past. Can you? I'm like, yeah, I've been in prison. They're like, yeah, okay. And you're like, I've been in prison for like armed robbery. Well, we'll have to get back to you on that one. Do you know what I mean? I'm thinking,
you know damn well they're not going to,
you know, and that happened and it kept happening, and I ended up getting depressed. You know, I got depressed. Ended up on medication, and I just thought, there's nothing out here for me. I'm not going to get a job. I'm never going to be anything. I'm just going to go back to offending. And I thought, you know what? Before I go back to offending, I'm going back to jail. And that's what I did. I went back and handed myself in, sorted myself out, got back out. And
if it wasn't for my dad, I wouldn't have got a job.
Yeah.
If my dad employed me, you know what I mean?
Right. That's what I mean. You know, someone's took you on.
You need somebody
that knows you.
Exactly. Yeah.
You need somebody that knows you, that's going to stand on for you. Because most people you just see the convictions, you know, in front of them. You see it in black and white. They don't know you as a person. They don't know what you've been through. But you know, you're probably not willing to give you a chance, and that's what happened. You know,
you need a mate or family member.
Yeah. So that's why I started going to college. I ended up going to college and doing plastering because I couldn't get any job. So I thought the best thing to do for me is to go to college, is to learn plastering, to get self-employed, to be a plasterer. So that's what I did.
To tell you what, just look, we do the kitchens and like. We have the same group of people because once you've done kitchens, you always want a plasterer coming in and doing. We have and the electricians, and we use the same ones all the time.
Right.
And this plasterers, they're just like, it's hard to get in within. He's permanently just booked within 2 weeks because a good plasterer is hard to find.
Yeah, very hard to find. Yeah. It's a skill. It is a skill.
Yeah.
It is a skill. It's hard. You know. I've done a bit of work and it's very hard. It's rewarding though. You know, I was lucky that I went to a college and the tutor knew about me, and he was absolutely good as gold. You know, he was absolutely, and he retires this year, and it's sad really, but I really enjoyed the first years in doing that. It's just because that's the only way that I'm ever going to get anything. I'm not going to get any work apart from that. So no one's going to.
You don't have to disclose anything, do you?
No, I don't have to disclose anything. That's the best thing about it. You know, I can work for myself. I can earn my own money. No one can tell me what to do.
Yeah.
And
So how many years have you been off the drugs now?
Probably about 2.5 years now. 2.5 years fuller. By this Christmas time, that was a bit of a mad one. Do you know what I mean? You know, I went out partying at Christmas time, ended up getting a positive drug test for cocaine. So put me back to high risk straight away. You know, it was low, medium risk, and then a drug test put me back to high risk. So but like for full on using drugs, no, not at all. No.
So if they got you for the crime now, they could potentially put you back, and you'd have to do 99, finish the 99 years.
No. If I was locked up, then it's 99 years. It's 99 years till parole. Yeah. So they can keep me in any year till 99, but on release, the difference is with this sentence is 10 years. So I've got a 10-year licence.
Yeah.
So I've got 7 years left of that licence now. Which I'm going to get appealed soon, because I've been out at my last review. There's no information or intelligence about offending. I've been at college. I've kept my head down.
I've had a couple of blips since I've been out, but I think that's kind of expected. You're not going to get out of jail after doing 13 years and not have a couple of little blips. You know what I mean? It's just unrealistic.
Yeah. And what's your fitness program these days?
I go to the gym. I'm nearly in there every day, training. I do like split circuits, do training like normal bench, arms, shoulders, and then I do a circuit on top where I do like, I get 2 steps together, get these 2 Reebok steps, like all Reebok steps. I'll get like a big sandbag on my finger. It's like a rugby training bag. It's like 25 kilo. I'll get that on my back and do some step ups. And then I'll do like 20 step ups, put it down. And then I'll get on my bar, do a set on the bar. And I'll just rotate like that between that. I think that's the thing that's kept my head together, Shaun.
I was going to say that natural high, the endorphins cascading.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
That seems to have replaced the other stuff.
Definitely, yeah. I did a lot of running when I was in prison. That was one of the reasons, I just started getting into running. I don't know if anybody's ever been into running proper, but go running and put music on and all. Like, really, it is something else. It is very addictive.
Well, look, man, I just want to congratulate you, Danny, on turning your life around.
No worries. Yeah, me too. No
worries, all these people watching this out there, put your comments below the video. Let us know what you think of Danny's story. If you've got questions for him, put them below the video. Is there any way people out there can help you in your life with what you're doing now?
They can get in touch. I've got my email address if they want to email me.
Right. What kind of help would suit you?
Plastering work.
Plastering work. Plastering work. Yeah. Or a job. Yeah, a job. Something.
What area of the country then?
Rochdale, Manchester.
Okay.
Yeah. Rochdale, Manchester.
So if anyone's in the Rochdale, Manchester area,
need plastering.
A plaster or a kitchen destroyer. Rebuild that.
Everybody at work.
Kitchen destroyer.
And I'm the one who said that car factories are
Pleasure to meet you.
Cheers,
Pleasure
man.
to meet you, Wild Man, as well.
Yeah, thank you.
Honestly.